Welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. This is essentially the 2022 election edition of the program. And I am in a different part of the, I'm in a different area today. I'm not in my studio. I'm in the dining room. And I'm just kind of... I'm just basically decided I just wanted to eat a little bit of dinner and snack a little bit, and be sure to just pick up have everything accessible, my beer, my snacks, all of that, and it's going to be pretty much it's going to be a rough ride, entertainment, maybe violent. I don't know. We don't want bad things to happen, but this country's crazy. Get this thing out of the way. This country is crazy right now. What the hell is this? What the hell's that? Oh, my vacuum cleaner's going over here. Sorry, that does not look professional. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, as I said, the election is going to be. They talk about historical elections, and you hear every 2 years, every election is historical. This is going to be an election like no other election ever in history. This is the most important election of your lifetime until the very next 2 years or the next 4 years, and then they'll tell you that oh my God, this election is important. So anyway, I am seeing some people I recognize here, so I'm going to give them a shout out. I know who you are, September. How are you tonight? How are you? And I got some Guinness, and I will be drinking in a little bit. So I'll be, I'm going to be tanked up before the night's up. So everybody better watch out. And Mike, I think I know who you are. What's up? What's up? What's up? How are you? Let's see here what we got. They've been saying this since the 18th century. You got that absolutely correct, sir. I'm good. Getting some food at CFA. Well, I'm tell you, tonight, I just got some food already. I had some burger and fries, and I am going to take care of that notification that keeps popping up on my Twitter. I'm just a little, that notification thing is a little annoying. So, it's very distracting on my thing. If I can get rid of it, I will try to get rid of it somehow. So, but anyway, suffice to say, we'll see what happens with this election and all of that. And, Les Bones, hey, how are you, my friend? I tell you, tonight's going to be a lot of fireworks. So I tell everybody, get out the popcorn and enjoy the show. Catty Ann, how are you doing today? How are you? I am glad to see everybody in the house. So let me go ahead and grab a beer because, my goodness, that's what I'm going to do. Give me 2 moments here. I will be right back. So this election is going to be fireworks. Fireworks will ensue. And hold on a second. Let me find my bottle opener. Damn it. I have my bottle opener here handy. Oh, there it is. Oh, I hope y'all got some alcohol with you, because I think we're gonna be doing some drinking tonight too. We're gonna be watching programs of news coverages from some of the other channels, channels that my audience aligned with, and channels that we may have been previously aligned with at one time that we're not so aligned with anymore. And we're going to talk about the hypocrisy in that regard. So, well, you know, I think that maybe that's probably the way to start right now. Give me a moment here. You know, the thing about it is, I used to religiously watch the Young Turks a long time ago. And what they have done in the past, since 2016, they have gone downhill. They have gone significantly downhill year by year by year by year. And they have seemed to take a new low every so often, and they have taken the lowest low of them all. It seemed like this evening, with if I'm correct, isn't Matt Gaetz a guest tonight on the Young Turks? Let me see. I think he is. So hold on a second. And if he is, I mean, my question is, what the fuck is the Young Turks doing criticizing Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald for going on Tucker Carlson? I don't want to ever hear from Shank and Anna again about Jimmy Dore or Glenn Greenwald going on the Young Turk. Going on Tucker Carlson. If they're going to have Matt Gaetz, oh my God, they're going to have Matt Gaetz on the show, on the Young Turks. I mean, now I don't give a shit that Matt Gaetz is on the Young Turks, just as I don't give a shit that Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore is on Tucker Carlson. Meaning that, you know, I don't have a problem with people with opposing viewpoints having a discussion. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit in that regard. I know where everybody stands and all of that. But the problem I have is to make the accusations that they have made to smear the character of Jimmy Dore and Glenn Greenwald, when Young Turks kind of do certain things themselves, like Cenk Uygur backing a former Republican running for mayor in Los Angeles, Rick Caruso, who's got the politics of Michael Bloomberg, but he's running as a Democrat because he can't get elected as a Republican. What the hell's that about? So anyway, that's something I was going to discuss too. Let me see. Mike says, no matter who wins, the losers will accuse the winners of cheating. That is my prediction tonight, that both sides are going to go and accuse each other, well, of what they're going to accuse each other of. Because I'm not going to go and outright say it, because if I start talking about it, it will be considered a conspiracy theory about elections, and then I'll get my channel, my video shut down and suspended again, like I did this past summer over a misunderstanding of my words. That happened to me this past summer, by the way. Let's see. September said, "Are you a fool? Are you in full support of the Green Party? Your thoughts on Matthew Ho?" Oh yeah, my thoughts on Matthew Ho. I voted for Matthew Ho this morning, wholeheartedly for Matthew Ho. To me, it was a no-brainer. I had to vote for Matthew Ho. He had the politics I have. I mean, he's anti-war. He supports Julian Assange. He's a free speech guy. He supports the Green New Deal. He supports free college. He supports the jobs program. I mean, he all across the board on all the issues that matter. And so I did have to support Matthew Ho for the U.S. Senate. So I gave him my vote. I did vote for judges, and the judges are Democrats and Republicans. And with regard to Democrats and Republicans, on the culture war front, the Republicans are always worse than the Democrats. And I'm just not going to I won't vote for somebody that's going to go and launch full-scale assaults on LGBTQ community, or try to assault voting rights, or try to, or anything of that nature. So that's what it comes down to, and I'm opposed to capital punishment, and they're more likely to abolish the death penalty with Democrats and Republicans. So when it came to judges, I did vote for Democratic judges, that sort of thing. So, and as I said, I mean, I don't like the two-party system, but, as I said, when it came to judges, the judicial branch, you have to kind of think about things of that nature in that regard. Let's see here. Do you think the turning point for TYT was Trump 2016 election or before that? It was a combination of Trump derangement syndrome, but it was also Clinton money that came into the Young Turks through Jeffrey Katzenberg. And that money from Jeffrey Katzenberg basically turned TYT's watered down the ideology of TYT. They were a hell of a lot more independent. Ugh. They were a hell of a lot. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. I'm talking. The beer just went out of control. And I'm not even drunk yet. As I was saying, they watered down their message, and they kind of walked away from an independent stand. I don't mean independent as an electoral action, although I think they were favorable toward independent politics. They were favorable. They favored left-wing Democrats, and they favor independent politics. But now, while they talk a good game about supporting left-wing Democrats, their central message is to support all Democrats. And that's the problem I had with the Young Turks, that they have, become kind of like what Fox News is for Republicans, or OANN or something like that. But somehow became, at the same time, MSNBC for hipsters. And so they watered down their message, and I just they're fairly unbearable. They'll come out with a good story occasionally. I can watch some of their stories, and they'll come out with a good story, but it's hard to digest, and most of the time. And I hate that it's so hard to digest. I mean, they were such a breath of fresh air when I first got acquainted with them. I got to do something about that notification thing. Hold on a second. Let's see. Hold on a second here. I would like to turn off let's see. I'm going to mute that notification. Right. I got to mute it for everybody tonight because let's see. Let's see. For the time being, I gotta turn off the thing right there. Hopefully that'll do the trick. There we go. All right. Okay. So as I said, that was my problem with the Young Turks. In 2016, they watered down their message little by little. Then there was the shit with the Jimmy Dore thing. That with the forced to vote, their opposition toward forced to vote really put a bad taste in my mouth. And then the Aaron Matei riff with the Young Turks, where Shank Ugart and Anna Kasparis and decided to do an attack on Aaron Matei. She lost her temper, and then she did a Me Too on Jimmy Dore, and did the whole thing, dragging Glenn Greenwald into this shit, and dragging Kyle Kalinske into this shit, and dragging everybody in, where there basically was the online left drama of 2021. And I'm just like, that point, I was just like, no, fuck the Young Turks at that point. Initially I was 100% on Kyle Kalinski's side, 90% on Jimmy Dore's side back then, and 0% on TYT's side. Since Kyle Kalinske decided to become a Biden bro, I switched it around, and I'm kind of like full-blown Jimmy Dore now, and kind of like, Kyle took a back seat. He's still better than the other heavyweights out there, like Rational Now and TYT, Sam Cedar, and all of them, but he needs to chill on being a Biden bro. That's really a sobering to say. I'm being long-winded. Here I went on Ho's site, and I like what he stands for. I didn't see anything about women's rights on the ballot. If you're referring to his position on women's rights, he's 100% favor reproductive rights, everything, the whole 9 yards. I can guarantee you on that regard. Let's see here. I did not know about the Clinton box. Cool. Yeah, that's what did it. Jeffrey Katzenberg. Yeah. Major Clinton donor. He didn't like his beer. I love this. Yeah, my beer just had an attitude on me. Let's see here. Also, Shank is just a dick most of the time. What Shank did to Brianna Joy Gray a few months ago on that program, TYT Conversation, was horrific. But she handled herself really well. Brianna Joy Gray. And Mike, you saw the video I forwarded to you yesterday, I guess last night, from about Brianna Joy Gray. She is a fire breather. I mean, I like the work she does. And she was actually one of the best people to work in the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020. She was Bernie Sanders' past in a lot of ways. She was his angry past. The Bernie Sanders I've known and loved for the longest time, not the Bernie Sanders that people like Rukana try to mold Bernie Sanders into being, basically just another Democrat. And that was the problem with Bernie Sanders in 2020. He was not the Bernie Sanders of 2016. He was basically like, I'm just a little bit better Democrat than the rest of them. I mean, I'm just like, no, Bernie, you got to go and be that you got to be that cranky old man that wag his finger angry and all that. You need to be that, Bernie. You just need to be that. But again, what happened in 2020 was that Joe Biden, with all his faults, is a less hateful human being than Hillary Clinton. And that's why he bent the knee real quick. It really angered me. And this is why I don't want him to run in 2024, because it'll put me in a bind to support him. And I don't want to be put in that bind to support Bernie Sanders again. I do not want to be put in that bind. I do not want to go through the emotional hell I went through in 2016 and 2020 with Bernie Sanders. So I don't want them the media to attack Bernie Sanders. And really, Bernie Sanders' time has gone. We kind of need somebody new. I just don't know who it can be yet. He's great on the policies. He just buckles too quickly. That's the problem. Hey, Jimmy. I was asleep earlier, but I did watch a little bit of your program when I woke up. So great program. Sounds like you got a little bit of lousy weather in California right now, but but hopefully things will pick up. I think it was rain around your area, but anyway, let's see here. September says no. I mean, women's rights on the ballot. No, I didn't see anything about women's rights on the ballot at all here in North Carolina. Nothing about it at all. Let's see. Sanders is too old to run. We don't need anyone being frail in office. Well, I don't know. I mean, look at Joe Biden. He's old. I mean, we have a lot of old people. Being old is not the reason to reject somebody. You know, it's got to be policy. You got to have the right policies, but you also got to be willing to fight for those policies, which is the problem I have with AOC. And AOC has great policies. She's just not willing to fight for those policies. You know, the squad's got great policies. They just acquiesce and became part of the problem that they were fighting against 4 years ago. And that's a problem. It's a problem for people like me, because if they would be doing what they're supposed to be doing, they would make my life easier. I wouldn't have to go and be so independent in that regard, politically speaking, partisan wise. But I have to go step outside the system, and it makes my life harder, but it does make me a stronger person in a way too. So let's see here. Let's see. Sanders is too old. That's what we said. Yeah, that's my point. No offense to older people. They're more prone to being sick. Biden is too old. He loses track of what he's saying. Yeah, well, Biden's always been that way all his life. He's been a loose cannon. He's just Biden. I mean, he's just Biden, and he's done next to nothing in the last 2 years. I was thinking that I did vote for Howie Hawkins in 2020, but the Green Party guy, and I don't know him personally, but I mean, he and I know of each other. We know of each other because Howie Hawkins is also a member of the Socialist Party USA when I was in the Socialist Party USA, and so we know the same people, and so Howie Hawkins is Howie Hawkins is a good man. He has I have some disagreements with him on a few issues here and there, but that's okay. I don't agree with everybody on everything, but I voted for Howie Hawkins, and I'm glad I did, especially since Biden did next to nothing. So let's see here. We have, hey, Patty, how are you tonight? Where are you on the current numbers? Current numbers? What do you mean the current numbers, Patty? Talking about subscription number on social media? What do you mean? And how are you this evening, Patty? Let's see here. But anyhow, so as I said, we're gonna see what's going to happen. So let's take a look over here right now, and hold on a second. Let's take a look. What the hell's going on here? Let's see what's going on. Okay, give me a moment here, folks. I'm just trying to get everything set up here. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just getting everything set up here, and we're having a lot of stuff going on here. Anyhow, let me see what we got. On the results, that's about to find out, Patty. On the results, that's what I'm about to find out. That I'm going to be on several. I'm going to be on. I guess I'm going to start streaming on various shows, and looking on how everybody's doing on the elections, And what I probably will do is check occasionally on places like C-SPAN where there will be no copyright strike and all that. But I'm also going to go on. We're also going to go and check on programs. We're going to check on some of these programs and see what people are saying before we check what the election results are. So we're going to go into what I used to call friendly territory, and I'm going to call them not so friendly territory anymore. So we're going to go on to the Young Turks right now, and see what everybody has to say up there. We need a good laugh, don't we, folks? So here we go. Let's do it. Come on.
Be a very interesting conversation. Anna and I talked to Representative Matt Gaetz, also from Florida.
Oh, hold on a second.
Every day, the Young Turks delivers 2 hours of solid, fact-based, timely news and progressive commentary on all the day's most important stories. We keep our viewers informed while also providing perspective and insight.
This is not a commercial, not advertising. Hold on a second. I don't want to advertise for them. No, I don't want to advertise for them. I'm not trying to advertise for them. I know they're going to talk to Matt Gaetz this evening, so we'll just do that. Let's go on C-SPAN, see if there's any election results yet. Okay, let's do that. Let's see here. All right, let's see. All right. You go on YouTube, and we're going to go on C-SPAN. Let's see. C-SPAN. Let's see. Is there any live footage going on right now?
There are a lot of places to get political information.
Let's see. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not even subscribed to them. Oh, wow. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything up here yet. Let's see. I'm not seeing any election results yet. I'll tell you where we can go. Hold on a second. I know where we can go. Do Dissidents. They're live right now, and they're good guys. They're one of the newest online left programs around, and they're covering it live right now as we speak. So we'll go on their program.
His tweets around. He's a big.
Okay, so we're going on Do Dissidents, and we'll listen to them. We'll listen to them. Okay. And they'll have something, perhaps something to say. So hold on a second here. Before I do, the Young Turks. Who are the Young Turks? I really don't check into politics. It's time to vote. September. The Young Turks is a program. It's an online program of the left that was created in 2002, and it still exists today. It's the largest online news organization in the world, and it was started in 2002 by Cenk Uygur, and it actually has about, if I'm correct, I think it has about like 20 programs under its wing, and it covers a lot of news programs. It's sort of like it kind of operates like CNN and Fox, but on the internet. But it covers it from a left-wing perspective, or supposedly a left-wing progressive perspective. That's what it was supposed to be, and that's the aims of the Young Turks. So we're just going to go ahead and go on Do Dissidents right now. So y'all won't have to hear my mouth. I'm sorry. I'm kind of ad hoc tonight, as you can see. Let's see.
big
all of our heroes have
in
died.
the online left. Yeah, right, exactly. But hey, thanks, guys. It's great to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And you have your own podcast still, right? Is it still?
Yeah,
Punch Up podcast. Go ahead.
Punch Up Pod. Yeah, that's right. Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
All right.
awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah. And we drink our way through it because neither one of us could do this anymore after all these years.
Yeah. What kind of beer you got there? That looks like a pretty decent one.
I try to match it to the theme of the week, and all I could find was Lazy Jack, like Jack.
Oh, okay.
Biden's line,
I got it.
It's tough to get a new beer every week. But.
Oh, see, you have a fan here. Gene, I love Pat's tweets. Yeah, Pat the Burner is an institution in the online world. He has been for a while.
And fuck off, Pat the Burner. Let's keep the full.
Fuck off, Pat the Burner. Nice to hear you. Blast from my past. Yeah, people miss you. I feel like you were more active a while back. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
You found happiness? Don't tweet as much anymore?
You would think. You would hope, but no. I mean, you can only get so franchised. And at some point, it's like, what are we doing? I want to keep people informed and help with that, but I know we're not going to change the world. We're not. We're going to maybe rally 100 people at best to think like we do.
Yeah, I mean that's
collectively.
We're just here to celebrate the world's destruction. We're just here to watch and cheer on the destruction.
Cable news is tearing us apart. We are here.
Oh, sweet. You're good, man.
That's perfect. Yeah,
that's perfect. That sounds good.
Now you just need to find your Kyle Kalinske and you'll be all set.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's all you need. Yeah.
Exactly. The hour is getting late for Abigail Spanberger here. This is a house race. It's one of 435 house races tonight, but this is a race that she was slightly favored to hang on to. Democratic incumbent, CIA Spanberger, anti-socialist Spanberger. I hope she loses just so we get to hear her cry about how the left cost her the election.
Me too.
The police, man, it's bringing
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, they're going to do that anyway. But the Democrats, despite winning overall, obviously the big prize in 2020, they did lose House seats, and she was among the most vocal, saying it's because the left cost us these seats by wanting too many things like healthcare and housing.
Right. And meanwhile, aren't the exit polling showing that nobody gives a shit about democracy? Like it's one of the. It's like I just watched a video. It was just a clip from CNN or something, and they said democracy was like the 6th lowest issue for voters or something.
Well, because I've made this point before, but FDR talked about this in his famous For Freedom speech. He said, people will only invest in democracy if they feel like democracy is investing in them. If democracy can't get them to a doctor when they're sick, if democracy can't keep a roof over their head, people are going to say, what the hell good is it? And he mentioned at the time, this was 1941, he gave that speech, he said, people didn't just wake up in Germany and decide they wanted to be ruled over by a fascist dictator. It's they lost the desire to stand up for, to go to bat for, to invest in democratic systems because they felt like the democratic systems had left them behind. And, same thing's happening here in slightly slower motion. But that could kick into overdrive tonight, depending on how these results come in, obviously.
Well, they've already got all the excuses and blame lined up. It's insanity. It's the left, it's black people, black men especially. Yeah, defund the police, black men who have been misinformed. That's
Stacey Abrams. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well, they talk of the word inflation.
They're talking about Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger is a Democratic Congresswoman from Virginia, I believe, in the Richmond area, if I'm not mistaken. She is highly critical. She's a Democratic Congresswoman. She made a reference earlier this year to Biden, saying that she wants Biden to basically govern more like a centrist and less like FDR, which didn't set well with me. She's been, even though I think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a sellout. She thinks that Ocasio-Cortez is too far left. She despises Bernie Sanders, and she even despises Elizabeth the Snake Warren as too far left. She is the kind of Democrat that turned me into a socialist 30 years ago. I became a socialist because of people like Abigail Spanberger, Democrats like Abigail Spanberger. When Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton took over the Democratic Leadership Council in 1989, we'll get back to that program in a minute here. We'll get back. When the Democrats took over when Bill and Hillary Clinton took over the Democratic Leadership Council in 1989, they basically decided, you know what? We may still take money from the labor unions, but we don't have to listen to the labor unions anymore. We can just go ahead and take the money from the labor unions and then just go and grovel toward the business. Business is just as bad as the Republicans. Not that the Democrats were anti-corporate before. They weren't. But they were certainly, not that the Democrats were social democratic or a labor party, but they were closer to one in the 70s than they are now. And Bill Clinton basically shifted the Democratic Party away from that. And I saw it. When I voted for Michael Dukakis in 1988, and I even noticed in 1992 when I campaigned for Clinton and Gore. While I wasn't all that as excited about Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was saying things that contradicted some of the things that Michael Dukakis was saying 4 years earlier. And Bill Clinton said nothing about unions, whereas Michael Dukakis did. Bill Clinton bragged he was for capital punishment, whereas Michael Dukakis opposed the death penalty. Michael Dukakis talked about healthcare, talked about national health insurance, whereas Bill Clinton was very vague about healthcare. I mean, and so there it was. I mean, I saw the party shift further and further to the right in the first 2 years of Bill Clinton. Then the Republicans took over Congress, and then I saw the Democrats go further and further to the right, further and further to the right. I was like, well, what the fuck? I became a socialist. So that's just what happened to me right there. So and I just my problem with the Democrats is, the Democrats will be where they were in 1974, 75. I wouldn't have a problem. I'd be a hardcore Democrat today. I'd be a Hubert Humphrey Democrat right now if the Democrats were doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'd be a George McGovern Democrat. I would be something of that type. But no, I mean, the Democrats rather be, they rather listen to Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. And before there was a Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin fucking things up today, or Abigail Spanberger, there was people like Joe Lieberman and people like that back in the day, or here in North Carolina, Governor Jim Hunt. Yeah, I mean, or Senator Sam Nunn down in Georgia. These Democrats they have destroyed the party. Dianne Feinstein in California is another one. People like, Joe Biden. These Democrats have pretty much they just basically Reaganized the Democratic Party, but people think that the Democrats are hardcore leftists. And here's the thing: I think it's wonderful to be for LGBTQ rights and to be, reproductive rights and to be, all about tolerance and all that. I that's me all over. But the thing about it is that you got to go and offer something for everybody, like healthcare, jobs for all, living wage, expanding union rights, this sort of thing. And if you're not doing that, you create a culture war wedge, which is what we have right now. And for some reason, people think that and I'm not saying that people, I'm not talking about people, your next door neighbor who's a Republican, your friend or your associates or whatever. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm saying that I'm talking about elected Republicans who offer nothing but tax cuts for the wealthy and deregulation and union busting and means testing, basic things like Social Security and Medicare, that sort of thing. And then they go and and distract people with a culture war about a so-called transgender agenda that's not really there. I mean, things of that nature. I mean, today it's transgenderism. A decade ago was gay marriage. 20 years ago it was socialism. I mean, you see where it goes, and so it just kind of like, I mean, they'll do what they can to divide. Now, last year in Germany, they had an election, and I believe it's what they got a traffic light coalition, red, green, yellow coalition. It relates to what I'm saying here with regard to a culture war. Don't have a culture war in Germany the way you do here, because you have multiple parties in Germany. I think they have like 8 political parties in their parliament. Compare that to 2, and you have 2 political parties, and you have culture war issues that wedges between 2 dominant parties, and it forces people to choose a side. I mean, and so, in the words of Nina Turner, when Nina Turner was a little more base at one time, she said, when choosing, when it came to voting for Biden and Trump, she said it was like choosing a bowl of shit versus a half a bowl of shit. And, and that's what voting for Democrats and Republicans is like, as a general rule. That's what, and that's what we're stuck with a lot of the times, and we all feel terrible when we vote. We all feel terrible because we know that no matter who we vote for in either party, we lose, no matter who wins, because everything stays the same. The Democrats do what they do, it stays the same. The Republicans do what they do, it stays the same, because they both have the same corporate donors. They both are for the basic same thing. They're both beholden to the military-industrial complex. They both are all for increasing military spending. They're both for sending troops all around the world when we should be focusing on what goes on in our backyard. And so that's what's going on here. So we got some more topics here. Okay. Let's see. Vermont won Senate. Oh, yeah. Well, that's Vermont. Yeah. I was talking, Patty, I was talking to somebody about Vermont today. Who was I talking to about Vermont? I was talking to somebody about Vermont. Oh, I was talking to Dwight about, you remember Dwight. I was talking to Dwight about Vermont, and talking about the hotel. I remember I was noticing a lot of MSNBC up there, and I was just like, well, gee, down in the South, it's always CNN or Fox, mostly Fox in most places. I was like, that's a big difference between Vermont and North Carolina. September says, also fair education opportunities for everyone. Help lessen the homeless population. Absolutely. And I say providing a home for everybody. I think housing for all is something that should be looked upon. I have a friend in New York, Lucianne Canet, who's a write-in candidate in AOC's district, because she's upset with AOC, and part of her campaign is housing for all, and she's absolutely right on that issue. See, race riots and police brutality are also a huge distraction from the political agenda. It is very much so. It is very much so, and just a lot of people don't understand that. And I have seen police brutality firsthand when I was at ECU. I saw two African Americans get arrested. Both brothers, and neither of them were doing anything wrong, and the cops were just being assholes to them, and it pissed me off when I saw that and they ended up, unfortunately, doing community service. Let's see. We would never lessen the homeless problem with more people coming over the borders. We spend more helping outsiders than our own. It comes down to our foreign policy in Latin America. We intervene too much in Latin America. That's what it comes down to. Also, what it comes down to is our politicians. You have politicians in this country that politicize the issue rather than to work on a workable solution. And if you want to create more taxpayers, you got to have an amnesty program. That's to me a given. So I was just thinking you would say Dwight. Yeah, it was Dwight who I was talking about. So anyway, let me take care of something here real quick. I am still getting that what you call it, that notification thing from Twitter, and it's annoying the hell out of me. Let me see. I gotta fix that notification thing. It's really it's distracting me. It's distracting me way too much. Let's see. Turn off notification. Yes, let's do that. There we go. Hopefully that's going to do the trick. Okay. So yeah. So that anyway. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Are they talking about anything right now?
Right. That was joy.
I'm not seeing them talking about anything right now, so let's see what else we can find out here right now. Let's go back to the previous area. Let's see here. We will go and check over here. All right, hold on a second, folks. Come on. You can show up on the screen. Okay. Oh yeah, right here it is. We're back. Okay, give me a second. Okay, here it is. Yep, Matt Gaetz is on the Young Turks. Can y'all believe that? All right. And I don't want to ever hear from the Young Turks them complaining about Jimmy Dore or Glenn Greenwald being on Tucker Carlson. They are, or Nomiki Konst for that matter. I don't want to ever hear her mouth about it again either. So here we go. All right.
On the side of the road with your 4% of the vote.
Matt, I don't care about my personal career at all. I told Bernie to do that. I actually wanted Bernie to win that election really badly, and I didn't want to get in his way because I care about policies. I care about higher wages. I care about everybody in the country getting health insurance. I care about them getting paid family leave. I care about them getting child tax credit. And what I heard from you tonight is when you guys win, you're not going to do anything about wages. You're going to make sure that people do not get any help in the categories that I just mentioned.
No, wages will go
The real evil is Medicaid, to be fair. The real evil in the country is Medicaid.
And now the American people are going to get something in the Republican majority.
All right. Matt Gaetz, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. This was fun.
Yep. All right, guys. We got to take a break. When we come back, we got more numbers for you guys, and we'll get the Democratic point of view from Representative Ro Khanna as well when we return.
Oh, okay, that was the end of it. We must have missed Matt Gaetz, but Ro Khanna, I got some choice words from Ro Khanna. I kind of blame Ro Khanna. I kind of blame Ro Khanna for Bernie Sanders' second campaign not being all that, not running all that well either. So, there is that as well. Hold on a second, folks. Let me do this real quick here. We have Kelly. Kelly says, watching the bread and circuses tonight. The people are going to lose despite of whatever the turnout. Again, that is so very true. That is so very true. We all lose. Every 2 years we lose. No matter which party's in there, we lose. And I always said that no matter who wins, Mitch McConnell gets this. So let's see. What the fuck? Did she just say the real people of the country are medically covered? Was supposedly people are covered under the Affordable Care Act, but it's not the plan I would have chosen. At a minimum, it needed to be Medicare for all, like Canada, but ultimately it needs to be NHS like it is in the UK and Great Britain. Great Britain has the plan, has the system that we need. So Kelly says, didn't see TYD hanging with a sex trafficker. Yep, Matt Gaetz. What's so funny about Matt Gaetz is Marjorie Taylor Greene sits there and calls Democrats pedophiles, but she hangs out with Matt Gaetz, who's accused of being a pedophile. I'm saying accused. I mean, we're all have to look at this and say everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and if he's innocent, then that's okay. I don't want an innocent person to be accused of something of any wrongdoing, no matter how much I may disagree with him. But anyway, let's see here. Mike says, is it just freaking possible that mob rule is philosophically unattainable for delivering the maximum freedom for everyone? Are we going to keep crying? We just need to get the right people in. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm opposed to mob rule. If you're referring to democracy versus republic form of government, you can't have pure democracy. You can't have a pure republic. A representative democracy is what we are, and it's a messy system, but it's a messy system that needs improving. But it's a whole lot worse that could be in existence out, being used to. So the ACA doesn't do well for everyone. Absolutely, it's still expensive as hell and not accepted everywhere. And not only that, it was created by the Heritage Foundation, and anything created by the Heritage Foundation was a plan that needed to be rejected. And I've always said that. So let's see. North Carolina appears to be purple right now. Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Let's see here. Good old North Carolina, a swing state. Yeah, it's a swing state that swings on the red side still. A lot of rural area in North Carolina. Let's see. Agreed. We need smaller pollen trees. It's easier to vote with your feet. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Hold on a second here. We'll go. Let's see. I'm going to check something else out here. Let's see. Breaking point. Let's see. I don't think there'll be any copyrights if I'm going across the. Sampling across everywhere for live coverage. Let's see. Let's see here. All right. Give me a moment, folks. And because I got something I got to do real quick. Yeah. I tell you what. Let's watch Breaking Points. I got to go to the other room real quick. I'm going to let y'all watch Breaking Points, and I'll be right back in a moment. Within seconds, okay? All right, give me a moment here, and I'll get everything set up. Come on.
Like or dislike how exactly things are trending, but what I like about that, Marshall, is it just shows that a lot of things are up for grabs. perhaps, in a way that people don't, as stuck as we are, to see Florida become a red state in my lifetime, and to see Wisconsin be one of those places which we now have to watch as a bellwether. I remember Ohio as well. Barack Obama won the state of Ohio. Florida. Obama won Florida in 2008 by 3 points, and he won it by 2 points in 2012. 10 years later, we're sitting here at the desk, and we're marveling at a 15-point win for a Republican candidate. So it just shows me, actually nothing is static. Everything can change, and, it may not change necessarily the way that all of us necessarily want, but they can change, and they can change significantly in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's so interesting because your point is the fact that things could change could be a good thing, but like I kind of said earlier, I want someone to win a state they weren't expected to win, and then actually be able to have a governing agenda.
Oh, well, that's...
And it was basically the pendulum swinging back and forth for 30 years because everyone's just pissed off. Yeah. That doesn't feel great.
I agree.
All right, hold on a second here. Let me give a greeting real quick to Warren. Hey, Warren, how are you? Let's see here. We're carrying signs now. Hey, Bula. What's up, Warren? And let's see. Patty, what's up? How are you? I'm drinking on your behalf too. So let's see. All right. So we're going to, as I said, watch a little bit and see what they're going to talk about, and then we'll continue. So hold on one moment, folks, and we will continue. All right, let me get that volume going, or the play button, that is.
This is this is another debate Kyle and I have had 83 times, both publicly and privately, but clearly the neoliberal consensus is dying. At least among the public, it's dead. Even as they, hold on to Joe Biden as president, clearly they still hold on to power. But what you see in these swing elections is just a rejection of this paradigm, whether it's being offered by Democrats or being offered by Republicans. It's to hell with this. We're going to try something different. And so I think until you have whatever the new paradigm, whatever the new era is actually born and power consolidated, you're going to continue having these swings. Although, listen, we have to say, if Democrats outperform tonight in the way that might be happening, if New Hampshire is any indication of the rest of the country, which is a big if and caveats, et cetera, we can't deny, normally the party in power in modern history, they get shellacked in the midterms. And I think it is a remarkable indictment of the Republican Party that they managed to look this should not be in question. You have 70% of the country saying the country is on the wrong track.
Yeah.
You have inflation at very high levels. You have concerns about inflation and concerns about the economy at very high levels. You have a majority of Americans saying that gas prices are hurting them financially right now as we speak. It's 60-some% saying this is hurting me right now. You have a president whose approval rating is quite low. It's in the low 40s right now. You look at those numbers, this outcome should not be in doubt. And so when I look at that, it's not, listen, I'm going to have to give some credit to Democrats, and their strategy was better than I thought if this ends up being good for them. But I really think it is a thorough indictment of the direction of the Republican Party, which, really motivated people to turn out to the ballot box in a way that they normally don't in the midterm election to protect the party in power.
It is actually fascinating to see them. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to switch to policy for a second, because we've talked about these previous midterm elections, right? So we referenced the 1990s. Bill Clinton gets the first big modern shellacking, and then 2 years later, the era of big government is over. Right? There's this big correction. Right. 2010. Another shellacking. Obama's ambition just goes away, and the presidency goes into defense. That helps you win re-election, but the hope and change dream is over. What do you guys see as the not what you want, right? But what takeaway do you think the Biden people are going to take from, let's say, this moderate tsunami we're talking?
Yeah. So first of all, I love that question because I was transitioning right into the thing I wanted to bring up, which was, let's say the dynamic we're talking about now holds the rest of the night and the Democrats do better than expected. I really think it proves that if you materially deliver for the American people to any degree, even if it's just a little bit, they're
Oh, thank God. Okay, I'll reward you. So let me make the case real quick, and I know this is an unpopular case. I agree that on politics, Biden is a zombie. He's half dead. Not good. But on policy, he's way better than I thought he would be. I had non-existent hopes when Biden's approval rating was 33%. He was doing nothing. I was like, this is what it's going to be like the rest of his time in office, and I'm going crazy over here. Then, what do we get? Biden comes out and pardons weed offenders.
He didn't.
He pulls the troops out of Afghanistan. He does
not really
executive order that raised the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, which impacts 300,000 workers who are federal contractors and federal employees. He has a pro-union NLRB, which has allowed this wave of unionization now to sweep the country. He's appointed anti-monopolist Lena Khan to the FTC. She's currently blocking mergers. He does the CHIPS Act, which onshores 350,000 jobs. He does the PACT Act, which is healthcare for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. He does gun reform, bipartisan gun reform, which includes money for red flag laws, money for school security, money for mental health treatment. He killed Zawahiri, the head of Al-Qaeda. Inflation's a big problem, but also at the same time, we do currently have low unemployment. Ketanji Brown Jackson is on the Supreme Court. And then probably most importantly, you have the IRA, which lowered prescription drug costs for seniors. It has a Made in America provision for clean energy technology.
Okay, I want to say something about that. This guy that was talking on the right, the one that just dyed his hair, Kyle, he's gone really downhill. He really has gone downhill. He's pretty much a Biden bro at this point. The only thing he's correct on is the improvement in the National Labor Relations Board. I give him that. That's meaningful. There's still a lot of crap that they have to go through with right to work laws and everything like that. But it is probably a little easier for unions to be organizing, like with the Starbucks and all that now. With Amazon, what's been going on? The Amazon's got some setbacks, but the point is that they've been having there's been a little bit of a slight comeback for the unions, and because of National Labor Relations Boards kind of have improved, and that's true. That is definitely true, but just I'm not going to put all that hoop on Biden because he's still been a huge disappointment. I mean, I don't think my standards are so high, but if you really want to know, if you want to know how I'm going to predict how this election is going to be, I think this little short video will pretty much tell you how I'm going to predict the night's going to be. A little longevity goes a long way. Okay, so here we go. Give me a moment here, and you're guaranteed to laugh. I think you're guaranteed to laugh. You should be guaranteed to laugh. So this is from.
There is a little bit of a divide among progressive.
This is from Joe, known as STFU Shitlib, and he makes videos, and this is something he made for INN, and it's really funny. Indie News Network. So here we go.
There is a little bit of a divide among progressive voters as to whether they begin pressuring Joe Biden to move further to the left now, or if they should wait until the election happens and he gets elected.
I will definitely vote for Biden, and anyone who doesn't, I think, is mental.
I think that for me personally, I'm going to end up voting for Biden.
Let us do everything that we can to make sure that everybody we know comes out to vote.
It's over. Joe Biden wins. You guys ready for it? Down goes Donald Trump. Down goes Donald Trump. You're fired. Okay, you're fired. Uncle Sam gets rid of Donald Trump. This is shoptyt.com. Shoptyt.com. Down goes Trump. Is it a great news for the country and for the world? Yes. Definitely.
15 minutes later.
What do you want them to do with their kids when they have to go to work? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? I want them to
mainstream media didn't allow you 24/7 to protect them. You goddamn liars. All of you. Why don't you go kiss the ass of a politician today? I hate McConnell, but I respect him. But for Democrats, oh, that's our donors. That's our donors. No, we'll do anything. I swear we won't help the American people. You goddamn liars.
Because McConnell, unlike these garbage Democrats, understands power and he wields it. He wields it.
You ever see any Democrats saying this? Because they urinate all over their pants. Oh my God, I would be fighting a Republican. We would be defending Republicans. We're so scared of them. You're all pathetic losers because we're actually principled. You goddamn liars.
Facts don't care about your feelings, bro.
We're going to get annihilated in 2022, and Joe Biden's going to celebrate. He's going to be like, yes, my beloved Mitch McConnell has won. You goddamn liars. All of you. Why don't you go kiss the ass of a politician today?
The Democratic Party, every single one of them, that includes the squad, I don't care anymore. So in other words, he's willing to do jack. But donate money to him. Because what? He's going to give a sleepy speech?
He's going to give a sleepy speech?
The hoes will learn now. The hoes be knowing, okay? The hoes be knowing. And they love it. So enjoy that. The hoes be knowing. And when push comes to shove, the hoes be knowing. Make sure you understand that. You feel it in your bones. Like the hoes be knowing, okay? The hoes be knowing.
Like a whore.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, I just thought a little bit of levity right there. That's from INN. Joe, a really talented video content maker, good humor, and he pretty much knows how to make fun of the shit libs out there, and that's what TYT has become. I mean, they just got their heads in the sand, and then reality slaps them in the face, and anybody with half a brain would have realized they were going to be let down. And anybody who thinks that we're way more progressive now, the one thing Biden kept his promise on, he said there would be no fundamental changes, and lo and behold, he kept that promise. There was no fundamental changes that took place at all, none. Not anything that was meaningful, and that's what we're stuck with. So this is why we got to find alternatives to the two parties. I mean, and we have to find an alternative. Would it be the Green Party? Would it be the People's Party? Would it be PSL? Would it be SPUSA? Would it be some kind of Labor Party that all the left consolidates themselves around? What would it take? I was hopeful that with Bernie Sanders in 2016, 2020, I was hopeful that maybe, as critical as I was with the Democratic Party, that the consolidation could actually transform the Democratic Party into that Labor Party. I actually had hopes that could happen. But the Democratic Party wanted to remain Republican light, and they wanted to be proud of being, Republican represents candidate Republican, candidate shitty versus candidate Democrat, candidate less shitty. I mean, do you want to vote for shitty versus less shitty, or vote for what you want? And that's why that's why I try to find alternative options as much as possible. Because, if neither party is for what I'm for, I got to find something else. I got to find another option. And if there's another option, and I just don't understand why Americans will just complain about the status quo. I mean, you don't even have to be a progressive. You could be even if you're a Republican that's libertarian leaning, you don't like the culture war shit, but you kind of like low taxes, and you don't like economic, too much of a statism in the economy, but you kind of want the government to stay out of people's bedrooms. And I mean, all that. I can respect that. But you don't like what the Democrats have to offer, and you're kind of prone to the Libertarian Party, but you're kind of scared of what the Democrats may do. you're prone to vote Republican. Same thing with the Democrats who might be wanting to vote green, but they're scared of the Republicans, so they stay with the Democrats. Well, I would just say, just go for it. Just go for the gusto. Vote for what you want. Go find that option and do it. Just do it. And just go ahead and do it, because what's the use to vote for a candidate you don't want? In other words, I'm going to quote Eugene Debs. I'm going to botch up a phrase that he used in 1908. I'd rather vote for what I don't want and get it than vote for what I don't want and get it. And that's exactly what Americans do over and over and over again. We vote for what we instead of voting for what we want and not getting it, we end up voting for what we don't want, and we end up getting what we don't want. And that's keeps happening over and over again with some people, and unfortunately happens to a lot of people who votes Democrats, that things get so hopeless on the Democratic side, they go Republican. I'm like, you don't have to do that. Why don't you go third party? I'm going to go this way. I'm like, but it's what happened with Tulsi Gabbard. I'm like, she says she's an independent. And the thing about Tulsi Gabbard, I think that with Tulsi Gabbard is she's been treated so badly by Hillary Clinton, by corporate Democrats, by right-wing Democrats, not by the left, by right-wing Democrats. Right-wing Democrats treated Tulsi Gabbard like she was garbage. And she went where the love was at. She was a veteran. And so the Republicans saw this really attractive young lady. And they were like, ooh, hot woman, hot, sexy thing that she's, sorry for the sexism. She's a veteran. And they're treating her like crap. So they embraced her. And she went where the love was at. I think that she could have, and so I think she also got, in my opinion, I think she also got bribed. She also got tempted with a lot of money. And so now, even though she's independent, she's sucking every Republican cock she saw in the campaign trail in the last several months, which is irritating. So it's kind of like, she's doing it to give a black eye to people that she thinks is the left. She conflates the Democrats with the left. And Democrats and left are two different things. She had a loyal following on the left. She had a loyal following on the left. People to my left that actually like her. I know actual tankies that love Tulsi Gabbard. And she basically told the left to fuck off. And what's embarrassing about it is I wanted her to be Bernie Sanders' running mate in 2020. I was like 100%, always 100% for Bernie, but I was so impressed with Tulsi in 2019, 2020. I wanted Tulsi Gabbard to be Bernie Sanders' running mate. I was really impressed with her talk about the military-industrial complex and its abuses that needed to be talked about. Her anti-war stance, which needed to be talked about. Her talk about Julian Assange that Bernie Sanders didn't even talk about. The only people talking about the only persons talking about Julian Assange in Congress now is what's the name of that congressman from what's the name there's a cannot think of the name of the Republican congressman from Kentucky, the libertarian-leaning Republican congressman, and I cannot think of his name at the moment. He talks about Tulsi Gabbard, and it's drawing a blank right now. And Ilhan Omar talks a little bit, gives lip service to Julian Assange, is my understanding. That's it. Nobody else does. Tulsi Gabbard did. She talks about Ed Snowden and Julian Assange. She talked about military-industrial complex. She talks about interventionism around the world. She talked about investing in home. During COVID, she talked about a UBI for every American of $2,000 a month. Thomas Massey. Thank you, Kevin Wilson. Thank you, Kevin Wilson. Thomas Massey of Kentucky. Congressman Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota are the only two members of Congress that gives lip service about the concerns of Julian Assange. So it's a bipartisan thing, and on paper they're both a little bit independent from their party on paper. Tulsi Gabbard did these things. Now she's kind of doing a 180, and she's kind of as the Democrats are embracing Liz Cheney, the Republicans are doing their best to embrace Tulsi Gabbard. I'm thinking, wow. And you know what's really sad about it is I still have more respect for Tulsi Gabbard than I do Hillary Clinton, because Hillary Clinton, is she that much better than about some of the things that she accused Tulsi Gabbard of? Tulsi Gabbard being accused of being a transphobe. Hillary Clinton made a turfy comment about doing too much advocacy for the trans community and how it's going to harm Democrats in the long run. That sounded very, very anti-trans, but you never hear anybody sit there and talk about the almighty Hillary Clinton. And people are talking about having her run again in 2024. And she's talking about possibly running in 2024. And if the Republicans do a massive red wave tonight, she's going to do a massive lecturing to the left. And I hope that the left, in fact, the left, yes, Kelly, the left, excuse me, Hillary deserves zero respect. I really actually freaked out a lot of Republicans when they found out I hate Hillary Clinton more than they do. I have lost a lot of friends because of Hillary Clinton. I had some motherfuckers blame me for voting for Gil Stein in 2016. And I'm still sore about that. I had been blocked by a half a dozen people cursing me out and all of that. It was a bad time. And they made her out like she was some kind of a victim in 2016. You know, and somebody who's worth $250 million is not a victim. Nobody who's worth $250 million is a victim of any sorts. If that's being a victim, please give me $250 million. I'll pocket $3 million for myself and put the rest of it to a good cause. But anyway, let's see here. What do we got? Remember, MSNBC pushed Obama birthergate on Mitt Romney, but within a week we found out Hillary has started it herself. That is correct. When the Tea Party movement were doing that, and I didn't even know this at the time until a few years later. The Tea Party movement were going around with all these racist signs about Obama being born in Kenya and all that. I didn't even know it was Hillary Clinton that was doing this against Obama in the Democratic primary in 2008. But see, by that point, when Dennis Kucinich dropped out, I was kind of like really pissed off. And I was like, okay, I was going to support Mike Gravel, who was going to be in the primaries for a short while. Then I ended up supporting Ralph Nader in 2008 for president. So, you know, just kind of like, you know, a lot, you know, all these right wingers who hate Hillary Clinton, they end up borrowing stuff from her propaganda book, her, you know, and all that. My blue MAGA friends and family still gives me shit for voting for Jill and blame me for Hillary's loss, when we all know who brought us Trump. Absolutely. And I believe it went like this. I believe that the Clintons were friends with Trump. I have seen pictures with Rudy Giuliani Michael Bloomberg, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump in a golf course, you know, back in the early 2010s, like 2011, 2012, hanging out. I mean, they're all the same cloth. I mean, they're all wealthy people. You know, they're all friends. I mean, and all of that. And I believe, like in 2013, 2015, that Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were having a golf game, and Hillary was about ready to go and run for president. And I imagine Bill Clinton was talking to Donald Trump, and my Donald Trump impression is horrible. So my Bill Clinton impression might be a little bit better. So I think that Bill was like, "Hey, no, you know, my wife Hillary, you know, she's running for president. I guess she probably knows the inevitable. She's doing that." And I'm just thinking, if you were, you know, if you were to run in the Republican primary, and just kind of brainstorming, what if you were running the Republican primary? We know you're not really, you know, you're kind of bombastic, but you're not really socially right wing. You go in there, you might cause a little bit of chaos within the Republican primaries, and they can get some. You know, they got somebody in there that's weak to make it really easy for Hillary to win. And something like that was to happen, we can make some arrangements for you. You could be probably 4 times more wealthy than you are right now. I mean, I'm just saying, if you were to do something like that, arrangement could be made. I'm not saying we should do it. I'm just saying I can see something like that happening. And Donald Trump, being the egomaniac, said he thinks it will be great for his career. And I think that Donald Trump didn't come in there to win the nomination. I think he came in there just to defeat his ego and do just that. Then I think somewhere along the way, he figured he could become president. He was like, well, fuck the Clintons. And he said, I'm going to go for it all the way. And I think that he did. I think that's what he tried doing. And I really think that he did that, and that's what happened there. So anyway, I'm talking, and we need to see some results, folks. So let's go and check for some results, okay? All right. Let's check for some results here. Let's see. Let's see. Results. Election results. Let's see. Election results. Because we need to, I'm talking to y'all and everything, but we actually need to know what's going on. We need to know who is actually winning elections. And I don't want to do it where I'm going to get in trouble with the copyright. So that's another thing right there. I need to kind of check. Excuse me. Let's see here. Let's try. Let's see. BBC News. I think we could do it there. Maybe. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. I don't want to. I'll tell you what. Let's take a look. No, I don't want to do that. Give me a second. Okay, history. All right. All right. Okay, I'm trying to get back to it. Let's go back to due dissidence because they were doing election results. So we'll go back to due dissidence. Let's see. Everywhere they're seemingly just talking about the elections right now. So they're not really saying anything yet. So let me check on the regular website. Let me do that. Let's see. Election results 2022. Let's see what we got here. Hold on a second. All right. Actually, we're just going to go on an old-fashioned website thingy. Okay. So let me do that part there, and we'll do this. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Oh, yes. Warren says, Kelly says, excellent Bill impression. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see here. You press Bubba is 100. We're carrying signs now says your presidential Bubba is 100%. 100 Willie. Yeah, it took a little while to do that. You should do a fake debate between Bill and Bernie. I would love to see that. You mean Bill and Bernie? That would really be interesting. Of course, it would be interesting to debate with Bill Clinton, because Bill Clinton was the reason why everything is really fucked up in this country right now. Let's see. DeSantis is in. His wife is too hot for him. DeSantis is actually, I'm more fearful of Ron DeSantis than I am Donald Trump. At least with Donald Trump, you get a comedy show. DeSantis is everything I despise about George W. Bush. He's everything I despise about George W. Bush, and everything that people project that's true and untrue about Donald Trump, that's negative, true and untrue, is in Ron DeSantis, but does without comedy. No, Ron DeSantis is bad news. Let's see. Why do you think it is so important to push the fact on first as a black, gay, Latina when in our history was thought to be treated equal? Well, I'm for everything being equal. So anyway, let's see what the election. I do see some election results. Let's go. Let me get it set up. Okay, I think we see something here right now. So let me go and do this here. All right. Election results. This is on Google. I don't think there's any copyright strikes on me doing this. So there we go. All right. All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see. Let me do that. Okay. And let's see here. Warnock in Georgia. And as y'all can't see it too much, it's kind of blurred. 60% reporting, 50. Let's see, it says here, 60% reporting, but I don't know what. But it's 50.2%. Looks like Warnock is kind of leading in Georgia right now. In New Hampshire, 58.6% for Maggie Hassan. Let's see here. I'm taking a look here. Let's take a look at Georgia first. Georgia, yeah. Let's see. North Carolina, it's Ted Budd leading by 50.3%. Not really surprised. Let's see. Let's see what's going on in various. I'm looking through here. Yeah, I'm looking through. I'm really surprised. North Carolina, Wiley Nickel, and that's in my district in North Carolina. I figured he was not going to win, but he's doing fairly well, 53.5. Yeah, with a name like Wiley Nickel and the way that they smeared him, So anyway, let's see here. That's what I'm seeing right now. For the U.S. House, let's take a look at the U.S. House. Would like to look in the U.S. House. Let's take a look at North Carolina, because that's where I live. I live in North Carolina. Let's see. This district. Let's see here. What do we got for North Carolina? it's pretty red in North Carolina right now. There's some blue sections. Let's see here. Don Davis, 53.7. Deborah Ross and that's in the Raleigh area, District 2, 70.8. District 3, Greg Murphy at 65.9. That area is going to be heavily Republican. Valerie Fucci, 67.8 in North Carolina's 4th. Virginia Fox. I have a reason that I dislike Virginia Fox. She's at 63.1%. Republicans. Number 6, Kathy Manning, 55.7. At the 6th district, David Rouser, 55.5. In District 7, Dan Bishop, 68.6. In the District 8, Richard Hudson, District 9, 55.7. Patrick McHenry, Republican, 72.8. Chuck Edwards, Republican, 53.6. District 11, District 12. Alma Adams, Democratic Party, 64.5 in District 12. Wiley Nickel, 53.5 in District 13, and that's where I'm at. District 14, Jeff Jackson, Democrat, 58.1. So that's where it stands in North Carolina. So hold on here. Let's take let's take a look. Beto O'Rourke losing Texas. No shit. Beto O'Rourke is a fucking idiot. I mean, let's just keep it real. I was duped for 5 minutes in 2018 when he was running against Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is so fucking evil that he did seem appealing for 5 minutes, Beto O'Rourke. But Beto O'Rourke just turned out to, when he started flapping his arms and jumping on top of tables and all that in the 2019-2020 campaign, and turned out to be a joke and turned out to be a big old sellout and a corporate Democrat pretending to be cool, just like whatever, we have, let's see here. So, Patty, let's go to your Rhode Island for a minute. We're going to check Rhode Island. Okay, Rhode Island. Let's go to Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can go and check by this to see here. Let's go and check where Rhode Island stands. See here. We're going to check Rhode Island. Rhode Island. What's going on in Rhode Island? What do you mean there's no election in Rhode Island? There is an election in Rhode Island. There's got to be an election in Rhode Island. U.S. House. Oh, U.S. House. Rhode Island. Yeah, okay. There's no election for senator, it looks like, in Rhode Island. Of course, that's a given. Let's see. Rhode Island. There's 2 districts. David Sealing Lee, 63.9, Democrat. Seth Gaziner, Democrat, 50.7. Of course, I know that Rhode Island is a Democratic state, so there. Excuse me. Wow. Okay, I'm just checking right now. So that's what it's looking like, folks. So let's see here. Any more? See. All right. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm gonna grab me another beer, so I'm gonna go and try to find something to entertain y'all for a moment. So let me do that while I grab another beer. Okay, give me a moment. Let me find something to entertain y'all with. Let's see, something to entertain y'all with, and go on my Twitter page. And I'll be glad to give y'all my Twitter page information if y'all are not following me on Twitter yet. So I'll tell you what. Let's see here, because I'm going to grab a beer in a second. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Let's see. Let me do this real quick here. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you need to hear this. Y'all need to hear this. My friend in New York, in AOC's district, Lucy, follow her channel, Blue Moon Red Wine. Hold on a second. Let's go to her channel, her thing on Twitter. Let's see here. Let's go on Twitter. There we go. A few days ago, Joe Biden was in her district visiting, and she did what she could to make him feel welcome. I'm going to be interviewing her next week. She became a write-in candidate for Congress in AOC's district. I did interview her several months ago, and so we're going to go and find the. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the actual footage of the video where she's. Let's see, where is it that if I can find the video where she's the Biden rally. If I can find the Biden rally. Let's see if I can find it. Well, if I can't find it, she's got the recording of herself at the Biden rally. So I guess if you want to, you can hear her recording. So this is Lucy at the Biden rally. So here she is. Enjoy. If I can get the volume working.
Haiti, where is the money for public housing? What about canceling student debt? My generation is going bankrupt because of Joe Biden, because of Joe Biden's bankruptcy law. Everyone here should walk out. There will be no winning a nuclear war. Imran Khan blames you for toppling his administration. U.S. troops are in Haiti. Where is the money for public housing? What about canceling student debt? My generation is going bankrupt because of Joe Biden, because of Joe Biden's bankruptcy law. Everyone here should walk out. There will be no winning a nuclear war. Imran Khan blames you for toppling his administration. U.S. troops are in Haiti. Where is the money for public housing? What about canceling student debt? My generation is going bankrupt because of Joe Biden, because of Joe Biden's bankruptcy law. Everyone here should walk out. There will be no winning a nuclear war. Imran Khan blames you for toppling his administration. U.S. troops are in Haiti. Where is the money for public housing? What about canceling student debt? My generation is going bankrupt because of Joe Biden, because of Joe Biden's bankruptcy law. Everyone here should walk out.
Yes, yes. as I said, I'm going to do a video perhaps tomorrow on Lucy. She did this in the last minute, decided to run for Congress and AOC's district as a write-in. And I'm curious to see how many votes she acquired in doing so. As I said, a lot of people on the left are kind of are tired of being let down by the people that we worked to get in there. The squad, Bernie, all of us, we worked to get these people in there to kind of shake things up, not just to be another team player, just to be another Democrat, to be a team player. We, to go in there and do a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party. It was the purpose of Justice Democrats was to go and to do a hostile takeover of the Democratic Party in the same way that the Tea Party did a hostile takeover of the Republican Party. That was the aim of Justice Democrats. And it failed. It failed. It just, AOC goes to these town halls and she's wondering why people are screaming at her, and it's because she's voting for money to be sent to the Ukraine. And, I'm not saying this wonderful Russia goes into the Ukraine per se, but you know what? I don't want to sit there and sanctify the Ukraine either. Ukraine's got Nazis in the military. It's got Nazis in the government. Ukraine cracks down on unions. They shut down 3 news networks. The government banned 11 political parties. Homophobia is a problem in both countries. Ukraine's more homophobic. Their gay bars are actually vandalized. Anti-Semitism is a problem in the Ukraine. It went from, and we're sitting there and we're enabling, the United States is actually just indirectly helping Nazis abroad. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And if anybody says anything, oh, you're a Putin puppet. I'm like, no, we're not a Putin puppet. But why the invasion took place? When the Soviet Union ceased to exist in 1991. I got to get my Spanish dip. Give me a second here. I'm talking, folks, but what I'm saying is when the Soviet Union ceased to exist in 1991, what happened was the United States made a promise to the Soviets, to the former Soviet Union, that there will be that the Eastern European countries would not join NATO. They would not join NATO. That was the promise. And under Bill Clinton and under George W. Bush, little by little, I'm so sorry for the noise effect. I lost 40 pounds, but I'm going to snack tonight. Little by little, these countries in Eastern Europe started joining NATO, and Russia felt threatened. Damn, that's good. And that's what it came down to. They felt threatened by by all these countries surrounding them, and they don't want Ukraine joining NATO. And there's a part of Ukraine, I believe it's called the Donbass region, where they're being persecuted, the Russian ethnics, by the Ukrainians. And they're kind of protecting their own too there. So I do not believe in I'm not endorsing Russia, but I'm sure as hell not going to endorse the Ukraine either. And I will not. All that money that we're sending over there could have been sent to spend on cleaning the water in Mississippi. I mean, you know, or you know, places like Michigan and Mississippi where they're having a clean water crisis. We have crumbling infrastructure, and we need to focus on that, not spend money elsewhere. Even if we're going to be fiscally conservative and not spend it elsewhere, and just be fiscally conservative and just try to pay off the debt, that's better than sending it off somewhere for people to kill each other. Let's see here. Let's talk about the chat line again here. All right. Let's see. Play TYT meltdown compilation when Trump won. I may do that a little bit later, Mike. If you remind me, I'll try to do that a little bit later. Let's see. A Family Guy political clip. If I can do that and there's no copyright strike. A Family Guy. Yes, Family Guy is always acceptable. Yeah, I think so. I agree. Bill Clinton is in the show. Let's see. No, play a Family Guy clip. I'm just a little worried about a copyright strike. I've had a few videos shut down because of a copyright strike. Some videos said I wouldn't have thought there would have been a copyright strike, believe it or not. The episode of Bill Lois is wonderful. My favorite episode of Family Guy was the one where Peter Griffin kept on singing about the bird. The bird's word, you know. Oh man, I don't remember that one. It's been forever since I've watched the show. Let's see. Yeah, the Libertarians got pissed at the Libertarian Party, and so they made a Mises caucus to take over, and they did. The left should do the same to the corporate Democrats. They've been trying to. Democratic Socialists of America, which I've been a member of on and off for years, their central mission was to take over the Democratic Party and turn it into a Labor Party. It's not going to happen. Oh, let's see. Don't be a pee-pee head. I'll try not to be. Blame America first, and 90% of the time you will be right. Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. And you're a truth teller. You're consider blame America first. I mean, you know, that's the way it goes. I mean, and then you turn out to be correct, and later on people are like, oh, I didn't see that coming. But they would if they had any common sense. But many Americans don't. Well, my dad did. My dad is no communist, but my dad saw the war in Putin puppet head. My dad saw the war in Afghanistan in the 1980s between the Soviets and the Afghan rebels, and noticed that the Americans were backing these rebels. And my dad told me, and I was 18 years old at the time, who watched 60 Minutes on Sunday night. He told me that missile launcher that the rebels shooting the plane in the sky, that missile launcher will one day be turned against us. Kind of right. Ended up becoming 9/11. It was called blowback. Even Ron Paul got in trouble. For many years, he was kind of shunned for talking about blowback. But it's in the 9/11 report, and that's essentially what happens. And if you're a truth teller, they're gonna hate you for it. That's why the media don't want to tell the truth, and that's why you have to That's why you have to go and resort to independent media. So that's what we got to do. We got to always search for a second opinion, and sometimes a 20-second opinion. I don't rely on mainstream media. I mean, I haven't relied on CNN in 30 years. And I won't. I mean, I won't even trust CNN or Fox when it comes to the weather reporting. I used to trust MSNBC a little bit, but Rachel Maddow meltdown in 2016. I saw the writing on the wall there. And I have no respect for her anymore. I saw what MSNBC did against Bernie Sanders. They were sympathetic to Bernie Sanders, but they were pressure to attack Bernie Sanders. My opinion. My observation. Let's see here. The Family Guy versus Putin Peter episode was great. I will have to see that one. It's raining cats and dogs, CNN. Let's see, how do you feel about NPR? I used to listen to NPR. I just don't listen to NPR that much anymore. I mean, they've been so heavily corporatized in the last 25, 30 years too. Got a jet. Love you, Willie. Take care, Kelly. Solinsky always said to blame the other side of exactly what you're doing, and so I just flipped it. Whatever the Dems and mainstream media are saying gets closer to the truth. Well, they all do that. I mean, they all end up blaming whatever one side says about the other on either side. They end up being guilty of themselves. When I blame sides, I blame them all. So at least when I do it, I'm consistent. And that's you have to be. You have to have truth tellers out there. You have to have truth tellers out there to alert the public. And sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes you'll be called conspiracy nut and all that. I mean, I'm not really one, but I've been called one. I mean, and it's just like I mean, and right now there's a lot of conspiracy floating on out there. And the government wants to create a disinformation governance board to curtail misinformation and lies. Well, the media are the arbiters of a lot of misinformation and lies out there. They're the ones that spread conspiracy theories on both CNN and Fox. Russiagate conspiracy theory. QAnon is a conspiracy theory. I mean, and I don't like conspiracy theories, but should they be allowed to be passed around? Sure. You have to allow them to exist, because who's to decide what a conspiracy theory is? I mean, 20 years ago, if we have this fact-checking that went on in social media today, those of us that were opposed to the Iraq War, and we were correct, by the way, a lot of us, if we had social media the way it was, the way it is now back then, and we would have had a Twitter, and we would have had a Facebook, and we would have had a YouTube around back then, there would have been a lot of channels shut down for saying I oppose the Iraq War. Because the safe space back then was that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. It turned out he didn't. And you dare to question that narrative, you were with the terrorists, they said. And, you know, people know the truth about the past, you know, so there is that. So anyway, all right, let's see what we have here. Let's see. Do you feel like you can trust what NPR is reporting? No more than anybody else these days. I get my news mostly. If I go online or whatever, I try to get my news from alternative sources as much as possible. And so one area I would recommend. I recommend Gray Zone. I do recommend them. I recommend, you know, those sources like that. I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I'm babbling because I'm hungry. So I apologize. Let's see. Let's see. What do we have here? So far, the only media I trust. I don't know of any independent journalism. Well, I tend to bury myself a lot on the online sphere ecosystem. Is where I get most of my information from, and a little bit too much, and probably way more than I should. Because I mean, if I have to listen to the mainstream narratives, I go nuts, and I listen to it a hell of a lot less than I used to. I listen to just stuff that I can tolerate. Because I need to for what I do, but I don't know. I never met a conspiracy theory I didn't like except flat Earth. What are you talking about? Didn't you know that the Earth was flat? Let's see. Joe Biden being president of the United States is my favorite conspiracy theory. That's funny. In 2013, Paul Pillar of the CIA, who helped write the 2003 National Intelligence Estimate about Iraq, admitted on PBS that they ginned up the report to get the U.S. into the war. Oh, speaking of which, okay, I can make up. Okay, make like 5 independent sources you trust that we can all read for ourselves. Well, actually, I'm trying to think right now. As far as print publications, I don't subscribe to them anymore because I can't afford it. But I'll say that the Progressive magazine is still pretty good to subscribe to. They've been around in circulation since 1909. I would say in print media, I would say that Covert Action is another one. You can find out a lot what's going on with what our country's doing national security wise and everything. For example, you can also go. Oh, I'm sorry. You can also actually, I would also recommend Empire Files with Mark Preissner and what's her name? I cannot remember people's names today. Gosh, I cannot remember her name. She used to work for RT. I'm so sorry. When you're hungry, you get high off eating. Oh, let me find that name there. I'm sorry about that. Hold on a second. She won a case earlier this year. Let's see. Abby Martin. I'm so sorry. Why the hell did I forget that name? I knew it started with an A. Abby Martin. Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend, her. And she won a case in Georgia, I believe earlier this year. And she was supposed to speak at the University of Georgia, one of the universities, but she had to sign some kind of a loyalty oath not to criticize the state of Israel. What the fuck does the state of Georgia have to do with Israel across the ocean? A First Amendment violation, and she took that to the, I believe it was the state Supreme Court in Georgia, and they said that was a violation of the First Amendment. And what happened? She won that case. Empire Files, I also recommend. Gray Zone, I'd recommend. I'm trying to think. Well, thank you here. Let me see. There's other sources out there too. Give me a second here. Recommend some. I'm drinking. I also get kind of warm too, so I'm kind of sorry about that. Not to saw a still picture of myself putting food in my mouth. That's not good. That's just not good. I recommend. Well, I would have said the Intercept, but it's been corrupted. But I would have said the Intercept prior to 2020. I guess the Intercept may still be all right, but they just had a fallout with Glenn Greenwald. Check out Glenn Greenwald. I would recommend him too. On his own. Also recommend good old fashioned WikiLeaks with Julian Assange. Of course, Julian Assange is no longer. I mean, he's under arrest, but some of the work he's done in the past has been really, really, really good. So, yeah, as I said, I mentioned Gray Zone, mentioned Greenwald. Nope. That's a good list right there. And I'm getting buzzed tonight, folks, so I'm just kind of out of it. So let's go and check the election results again right now and see if there's any more results going on here. Senate results right now. It looks like, and this is incomplete. I know what's going on. I need to turn on the air conditioner. In November, I need to turn on the air conditioner. That's sad. Yeah, let's see. Right there. All right. Dad, or I need to wear a short sleeve shirt. And I may do that in a little bit. Okay, well, this is what it's looking like so far. It looks like right now, thank you. I was thinking Caitlin Johnstone. I was not, she was in the back of my mind. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, Warren, that's true. Anyway, I also work graveyard shift too, so I'm not quite as alert as I need to be. Okay, right now looks like that the Democrats are currently at 39 seats in the Senate. Republicans are at 40. But the night is not over. We don't know what the results are going to be just yet. momentarily thinking to myself. Okay, Senate here. I'm trying to think. Right. Any results here? Okay, for the Senate, let me take a look at Senate. Where the hell? Okay, Senate, and I'm looking around. Let's take a look at Pennsylvania. Let's see how it looks in Pennsylvania right now. In Pennsylvania, because we need to keep an eye on that one. Okay. In Pennsylvania, John Fetterman stands at 51% right now versus 46% for Mehmet Oz, which is quite surprising. But I'm also seeing three ballots, three choices in the bottom here. I was told that the Greens were not on the ballot, but it says here Richard Weiss, and also said Eric Gerhardt of the Libertarians and Daniel Wasmer of Keystone Party of Pennsylvania. But it looks like right now, it looks like John Fetterman is winning right now. And that's interesting. I actually thought that he was going to not do well at all. I thought he was actually going to lose, or probably lose by a small margin. Looks like he's turning out better than expected. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at another state. Oh, good Lord. What did I do that for? No. U.S. Senate. All right. All right. Talk around. Okay. All right. Why am I doing this? Okay. Why? Okay, let's take a look over here. There's no election in New York. I mean, there is an election in New York, actually. Let's take a look at New York. All right, let's see. New York, Chuck Schumer, 66 point, well, let's see. Of course, he's going to do well in New York. The Democratic Party stronghold. In Vermont. Peter Welch. That's a given. All right. Interesting. Catherine, Cadigan, looking at Vermont, I'm guessing this is a relative of Peter Diamondstone, but a Green Mountain Peace and Justice Party. Nastasia Diamondstone Cohout. I'm guessing that's a successor to the Liberty Union Party, down at 0.05, 761 votes. Interesting. So I was wondering what became, of the powerful Diamondstone family. Oh my God. You know what I need to do? I need to go and the movie Free Lunch Express with Bernie Sanders, I need to actually stream that one night here, because what's funny about the movie is that the character of Peter Diamondstone is on friendly terms with Bernie Sanders all the way up to the present. I mean, when he became a senator. I'm not kidding you. I mean, you would think that they were buddies all the way. In the movie, Peter Diamondstone and Bernie Sanders are friends. And for those of y'all who do not know who Peter Diamondstone, who he was, Peter Diamondstone was an old crank that hated Bernie Sanders, that had worked with Bernie Sanders and the Liberty Union Party when Bernie Sanders was in the Liberty Union Party. And as Bernie Sanders got more successful, in my opinion, I think that Peter Diamond Stone was deeply jealous, and he hated Bernie Sanders for it. Caddy N, would I be correct? Let's see. Getting back to Holy Hope Oz doesn't win. He's a doctor for peace sake. Like people, please stay in your lane. Yeah. Oh, Glenn Greenwald and Max Blumenthal are left terse. I think they have grifted on that question, and I disagree with them on that. Mike, Peter Diamond Stone. I'm Barry. I know who Barry is. Mike, Peter Diamond Stone is he was a member of the Liberty Union Party in Vermont when he was alive. He worked with Bernie Sanders. He was one of the founders of the Liberty Union Party. That's Peter Diamond Stone. And he and Bernie Sanders were friends at one time. They became adversaries. And he hated Bernie Sanders so much that just to spite him, he will always run. He will always run against Bernie Sanders just to spite him. And it caused a friction in the Socialist Party, because the Socialist Party was, in my opinion, forced to choose between a ballot line of Peter Diamond Stone's Liberty Union Party that the SP were hungry for versus supporting Bernie Sanders. So they went and they opted to support Peter Diamond Stone. And I met Peter Diamond Stone. He was a fairly obnoxious individual. He kind of reminded me of Bernie Sanders in a way. When I met him, he had this really horrible negative jealousy factor that was going on, and if I remember correctly, Caddy, didn't he get arrested at a debate and cuss people out? And then he was running for senator. And he was very disruptive in the debate. And he was really obnoxious. I'll get a picture of Peter Diamond Stone. Hold on. We'll find a picture of Peter Diamond Stone. Give me a moment, folks. We'll find Peter Diamond Stone. Give me just a second. He's not hard to find. All right. Okay. And Peter Diamond Stone. Let's see. All right. Let me see here. All right. Yeah, that's how I remember Peter Diamond Stone when I met him. And I met him in 2003 at the Socialist Party convention in Chicago. And here he is. This is how I remember him. Okay, hold on, folks. I'm sorry. That's Peter Diamond Stone. His demeanor, he was like a very sloppy Bernie Sanders when I met him. He sounded like Bernie Sanders. He expressed himself. His demeanor was like Bernie Sanders, but he hated Bernie Sanders and had a sick obsession with Bernie Sanders. All he did at the convention was tell people what a piece of shit Bernie Sanders was. I mean, I remember that, and that's all he ever was known for. Yeah, that's correct. He motherfucked the audience at a radio debate and was ejected despite having a place in the debate, and because he wanted, I mean, he was just an attention whore, wanted all the attention for himself. And what's so weird is he's a hypocrite, because he was a hypocrite. He accused everybody of succumbing to the two-party system. But you go into the Vermont State of Election website, you will see that in every election with Bernie Sanders in primaries, he was in Democratic primaries, he was in Republican primaries, so he could get the nomination of either party to run against Bernie Sanders. And I mean, and that's how he would operate. He was so desperate just to bring him down. And what a sad person he was. His wife was nice. But in the movie, I'll play y'all the movie trailer. Hold on a second. I don't think it's in the trailer. But we'll get back to the elections in a second. I'm so sorry about that. I'm not really being professional, am I? All right. Hold on a moment. All right. Perfect. Okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. I had my conscience bothering me when I purchased the movie, because it was like it was anti-Bernie Sanders on one hand, so that bothered me. But it was kind of like, well, I don't think it was going to do any harm to his image by buying the film, or do any harm to the movement. So I'm like, in a way, I said I have a morbid curiosity, so I decided to buy the film. So here we go, and if y'all here, it actually ended up being kind of funny. So I was glad I bought the movie. Here we go. In spite of it being an anti-Bernie Sanders film.
Totally pledge this blood oath, dedicate my life to never picking up a dinner check, never donating to charity, like in the glorious Soviet Union, making sure the government pays for everything. Sanders, we need to have a discussion. Why are you bogarting your stash?
That is a totally false accusation. I want everyone to be as high as I am, or possibly even higher. Did I mention that I have a blood pact with Stalin?
Congratulations! I don't know why you have to go up to Vermont. Frida says that they don't have a synagogue in the entire state.
Frida also tell you that Vermont has some of the most lenient welfare qualifications in the country.
Yeah.
Working on an excuse why able-bodied man has been unemployed for 20 years, and your laugh there is a little distracting. I'm good! It's a miracle!
An unemployable guy with no sense of humor. You should try politics.
We get people that donate to our campaigns. Then after we lose, we can use the rest of the money for whatever we want. I'd like to get my name on the ballot for the next mayor election.
What is my higher calling? Your higher calling is anarchy and taking down capitalism.
Please don't tell me you're talking to Stalin again. What party?
Communist. Seeing the open caskets of reformed communists doesn't get your juices flowing.
Because it sure does for me, baby.
I hate rich people.
Don't make me hate you too.
Thinking that I lay low. Fuck me. Oh. Wait for the country to come unraveled economically.
Your legislation is a bondage fantasy?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, there it is. I like it. I then launch my plans with Soviet-style socialism.
That man is free. The masked wonder is here! I announce my candidacy for the office of Chief Amongst Equals.
Don't mess with me, Bernie.
I mean, President of the United States.
I will be president of all the land. I didn't sign up to be First Lady of Loser. You can name your price, or you can be found by the park police next to the cannon.
This fosters the gift that keeps on giving.
I am so screwed. But she got no love for me.
Oh, Bernie. Bless his cotton socks.
Dropped on the couch on the phone watching TV.
Hold on a second, folks. Oh, good Lord. Nope. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay. All right. Hold on a second here. Let me get back. Yeah, that's the Mike, I'll catch you later. So anyway, that's Free Lunch Express, the movie about Bernie Sanders. Very inaccurate film of his life, all over the place. Still funny. There's a lot of areas where they actually do a lot of embellishing. They have his ideology all over the place. They have the honeymoon. He spent his honeymoon in the Soviet Union with his second marriage. Not his first marriage. And that was in the late 80s. And they red baited him for that, as the Soviet Union was ceasing to be the Soviet Union. And the things that they were saying about Bernie Sanders in the film, which is, his mother and father were dead, when, long gone dead when his political career started to pick up. It was just all kinds of things that were very, very inaccurate in the film. Still funny film though. So anyhow, it was just Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken. Who would make an interesting Bernie? I'm trying to think who would make an interesting Bernie. I'll tell you the truth. I think that it's funny. It's funny about actors, because Woody Allen. I actually would have just assumed Woody Allen would have been for Bernie Sanders, and when I found out he was for Hillary Clinton in 2016, I was just like, I would have thought it was a bit of a foregone conclusion that he would have been for Bernie. And I was like, they sure as hell looked alike. And I think about Bernie Sanders every time I watch the movie Annie Hall. But anyway, let's go check election results video-wise. Let's see if there's anybody talking about actual election results. But it's looking like a hold on. I'm gonna do that. Okay, come on, where are you? Okay. All right. Where are you? Is that it?
Guess who's lined up here for 10:30, but you got a couple minutes left, Dieter.
No, nobody's. Oh, wait, they're starting to talk about it now. Okay, hold on a second.
And 63% Demings. This is actually kind of fascinating here when you look into these numbers, because Broward County is more like Joy Behar country. That's like the New York retirees. All the Yentas moved from the Upper West Side down to Florida. It's whiter, it's wealthier, it's more of the sort of New York City sort of shit-lived contingent goes down to Broward. Miami is more diverse, and this is one of the things that we've been saying for a while on this show. As the Trump years have gone on, and even the post-Trump years have gone on, Democrats have been hammering more and more and more on this idea that the Republican Party is this engine of white supremacy. And as they've been doing that, the Republican base has become browner and the Democrat base has become whiter. And now you have in Florida all of the white retired liberals from the Northeast who moved down here. They're voting for Demings 2-1. And as you can see, Miami-Dade County, 67% in, so that has not moved since our last update. At best, you could say Demings can hope for a tie out of Miami, which is nowhere near good enough.
Yo, man, I just got to give a shout out. This is my wings man, Brian.
Oh, Brian is in the chat. Hey, Brian, so what's going on, man?
Yo, back me up on this. The Asian wings were your idea, right?
I gave Russell a little bit of shit about getting the Asian wings because, you know, he's bragging about being in Buffalo, getting buffalo wings, but he doesn't have the buffalo sauce on them, and he told me you recommended these. Well, thanks, man. All right, now I know you haven't seen this show before, so subscribe. Russell's going to eat one.
Now, fun fact, they don't call them buffalo wings here. They call them wings.
Wait,
they're in fucking
why
Buffalo.
would they?
Why would they call them buffalo?
To call them buffalo wings. My technique, hey Russell, try this. When you have the thigh, don't eat it like that. Try putting it in your mouth the long way, biting down and pulling the bones out. That's how you get all the meat at once.
What are you trying to choke me to death for your 45?
No, I'm saying rather than nibble at the sides like it's a corn on the cob, put it in your mouth the long way. The long way, no, the other way.
I'm not doing that. I'm gonna choke on a fucking wing.
Close mine, dude. Imagine you choke to death on a live stream.
Exactly. These are excellent wings. King of wings in Buffalo. Giving you a shout out.
All right.
I'm not even asking for a kickback, Brian. Thank you.
Cricket, Russell wasn't doing an Ohio accent. He was doing an impression of a neurotic New York Democrat worried about how Ohio's going to vote. That's what he was doing there.
That's exactly it.
His Ohio accent is more like a Fargo accent. Russell is such a New Yorker. There's only 3 places in America, according to Russell. It's New York City, Alabama, and Fargo. Everywhere else is Fargo. It's a Fargo accent for every other place in the country.
Come on, man. Jim Ryan is a Fargo-sounding motherfucker. Come on. So what if maybe we get into a little nuclear war? That'll provide jobs. Imagine all the rebuilding we'll have to do.
Yeah, right. It's a way to bring manufacturing back to Ohio.
If they were to bomb us, what difference would it make? Nobody would even notice. We've been deindustrialized for 40 years here.
Yeah, exactly.
Youngstown would come back. Youngstown. It's the only hope for Youngstown, right?
All right, we got some results here from Georgia that are actually a bit interesting, so let's get to them here. It's no surprise that Warnock is winning here in Augusta and obviously in Atlanta, although his margins are not great in Fulton County. 75-23 with 56% in. You'd like that to be a little higher if you're Warnock. But it is a good sign for Warnock that he seems to be doing fairly well in some of these more rural counties. Obviously, these are low population centers, so we don't really know exactly what precincts are in and what are out. But if he can color some of these more rural counties blue, that's actually a pretty good sign for him. And so that is something to keep an eye on. Only 8% of the votes in the state are in, so this is nowhere near ready to start guessing in that way. But it is something to keep an eye out for. If Warnock can turn some of these rural counties blue, that would be significant.
Subscribe to this channel,
Rand Paul
folks.
has been declared the victor over Charles Booker. All the progressives are so excited about Charles Booker going to run against Rand Paul. That race has been called with 6% of them.
Y'all subscribe to this channel. It's actually a good channel.
Vote in. No real surprises there. I'll go look for some more data. I'll be back in just a moment. Guys, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your impressions. Do your,
Thank you, Brian. They're excellent, as I knew they would be.
In Fulton County, that would be a bigger margin for...
That's what I would think. I would think Fulton County, 75% is a little low for Warnock out of Fulton County. I thought the same thing. However, you can make up for that if you get some wins in some of the rural areas, because rural Georgia's always deep red. And so if Warnock can make it close out there, he can afford to lose Atlanta by a little more than he wants. Obviously, only 8% of the vote in there, so there's no way to really know anything right now. But do keep an eye on those rural counties, because if those start coming in, even a few of those start coming in blue, that could spell trouble for Herschel Walker. Maybe Warnock will be paying for Walker's abortion by the end of the night. Who knows?
Well, I think I want to make the point that Trump is a gambler by nature, and he makes big bets. And I mean, in his business career, sometimes they didn't pay off, but in politics, he's been able to make them pay off more often. And when you pick candidates like Walker, I mean, it's a big risk, right? But it makes everybody else look more normal, including him, right? Because you pick, Carrie Lake, it just has to talk smoothly, and she has the same exact ideas. And then, so it moves everything, there's I don't know how articulated this calculation is, but it just shifts everything it makes the absurd look more normal for everybody. So I think on net, I always thought that this was a good move. Yeah, I know you probably don't agree with me.
Well, the thing, look, like we said when we were doing our Senate preview, I don't recall who the primary contenders were, so I don't know what the alternatives were.
Right.
One of the things that Trump has done to the Republican Party is he's really compromised their bench, because party leadership is so afraid to cross him. It's tough to recruit candidates who are willing to go up against the Trump-backed candidates, right? So that automatically just kind of filters out a lot of would-be challengers to a guy like Herschel Walker, right? Because who wants to go up against Trump?
So I don't remember Walker's competition, but I do remember Oz's, McCormick, the hedge fund guy, and not just the hedge fund guy, but one of the biggest of them all. I mean, he is like a massive hedge fund guy. And he had a Trump connection with his wife, McCormick did, in the Trump administration, and yet Trump went with Oz as the TV guy and someone more likely to bend with him. Do you think that McCormick would have had a better chance against Fetterman, or is it Oz?
I think McCormick would have had a better chance. My thinking on this is that in a red wave year, you want to make it a referendum on the Democratic Party, period, and, running a sort of blank figurehead could be advantageous in that way, unless you have a candidate of particular talent, which Oz is not, and we'll have to see how that race turns out. Those results are coming in at 8 Eastern. It's 7:24 now. In 6 minutes, the clock will strike 7:30, and polls will close in Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina. So we should be seeing some results from that Vance-Ryan race fairly shortly. So we will keep an eye on that. Once again, you can support the show, everybody, by going to patreon.com/DoDissidents. We had a decent number of new signups this week, quite a few. I'm going to put that Patreon scroll across the bottom of the screen here. We're going to start shouting out the patrons every time. We added all of our patrons here. Some of you guys on Substack, I only have your emails, and I didn't want to put your email address on the scroll. So if you're on Substack and you're a paid subscriber and you want to be on the shout-out scroll, just send us an email, dodissidents@gmail.com. Let us know your name, and we'll put you up there. But thank you guys very much, of course, for your support. And while I'm getting my plugs in, I do want to give Anis a chance, since he's been here all week with us, to get some of his plugs in. So Anis, you want to talk about what books you have available? You have some recent political books that you came out with. So why don't you go ahead and get your business taken care of?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, thanks. So I've been writing about this stuff for more than 20 years. And in the early 2000s, actually in the late 90s with Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and so on, that's when I really started anticipating where some of this stuff looked likely, to me, that it would go. Early 2000s, of course, was Bush, 9/11 reaction to that. So I put together the essays I wrote over 20 years, all through the 2000s and 2010s. And that book is called Confronting American Fascism. So if anybody's interested, I was talking about things like, surveillance and torture and some of basically the suspension of the Bill of Rights, basically, which is the regime we still live under. We never corrected for that. Obama came in and we just sort of reconfirmed that, that new paradigm that Bush had established. So if you want to understand, it would help to understand, the stuff that Trump comes at the very end of this process, right? But how did these things become enshrined that we became so used to violations of, Bill of Rights and the Constitution and this weird normal that we've been living in now for more than 20 years. So that book is called.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, if you go back, really, where I would peg the real beginning of this, and of course you can always go back and back and back and back. Like when Nixon got impeached, this is one of the things I always remember about where I grew up. Because when I was growing up there, it was very Democrat. But there were some of these kind of Nixon Republicans. He was the first Republican to really figure out how to kind of appeal to white grievance. So there were guys like that around when I was a child saying, yeah, Nixon did what they all did. He was just the one who got caught. Who were just very bitter about him getting impeached. Mm-hmm. But really, where you saw this tendency in the country come to full flower was in some of the backlash against Iran-Contra. That was where you really first saw this weird kind of fascist tendency where Oliver North became like a folk hero. Somebody who completely violated the Constitution. And he's up there acting like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Well, you know what, Mr. Chairman? You know what? We needed to get those hostages out of there. There were American citizens, gosh darn it. And people went for it. I would say that's the first place where you really saw full blown what the modern era in American politics was going to look like. It was really the first true idiocracy moment. At least the argument that Nixon was the one who got caught had some salience to it. That was just that shit. That was just dumb. That was the first time in modern times, I think, that you saw what was going to become the Fox News right wing really rear up into visibility and help to define public perception of an event like that. That's the first time I can remember seeing something like the Trump phenomenon. Like, what do you mean you're celebrating it? Look, what Reagan did makes Watergate look like a fucking parking ticket. He illegally funded a side in a war against the express wishes of Congress. Reagan should have gone to prison.
Right.
I mean, impeached at Bush too. Bush got elected after that.
The next president, right? Yeah.
He got elected after.
Right. Yeah.
I actually remember Ted Koppel back when he was on Nightline. I remember him doing an episode about Iran-Contra. And really going after Bush. This is when Bush the first was running for president. And saying straight out, like, this is back when we actually had a press. We had a functioning press. He broke down Iran-Contra and all the ins and outs, made the case very clearly that George Bush was really the architect of Iran-Contra. And he said straight out, some very powerful, wealthy men broke the law and got away with it. That's what happened here. And this was in the middle of an election cycle. I can't think of any journalist outside of alternative media that would have done that would do that today.
Today, yeah. Well, now the Democrats love the national security state, the intelligence agencies, right? So we've gone to the other extreme. The last people on earth to question them are liberals, are mainstream liberal Democrats, right? Well, you make a good case for that, but what struck me also, the other side of it is, and Oliver North was a kind of spectacle, right? So Reagan is basically running a parallel government, right? That's one thing, but the public figure is Oliver North, is this little guy. He wasn't at the, and yet you saw this little fascist, right? Little German, that was very That was quite amazing for that period. But then the other side of it is, with Monica Lewinsky, what made it made me realize that, and Clinton was very popular because of the economic prosperity of the times, and he had which is the criticism that people have of Biden, and I would too, is that he's trying to convince people that we should care more about Ukraine and unlimited war there, and abortion, and what they call the defense of democracy, and January 6th. It's not working. As opposed to inflation, the economy, and jobs. Of course. Because people will get to that once you've got.
Okay, we can go back to that later on. I'm so sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to get election results, and we're getting a lot of discussions and all of that. But I will say this. Right now, as we speak, it looks like at the last count, there's 40 Democrats in the Senate that's going to go back in January, and 41 Republicans. But the night is not over. You know, we don't know what's going to happen just quite yet. And in the House, 97 Republicans and 55 Democrats so far. That's how it's looking at the moment. So let's go elsewhere, and let's see what let's see what's being discussed elsewhere. Let's see here. Let's go. Well, that was in New York. Let's go to Massachusetts for a moment, and where Sabby Sabs is at, and we'll take it from there. Come on.
The early mail-in vote first in Arizona, and there was a big emphasis in this race by a lot of the Republicans, especially the pro-Trump Republicans, to say, we are going to vote on election day. We don't trust mail-in voting. So
keep that in mind, guys. Right now, it may look like Degrees in Defiance said, no way Katie is winning. That's BS. She's horrible. Yeah, these are the mail-in votes, okay? They haven't gotten to the people who voted today yet in person. So just keep that in mind when you see the lead that they have. Expect that to shrink. Now, that doesn't mean that they may necessarily lose, but I would expect that lead to shrink. So I'm glad that he mentions that.
There's going to be a lot more Republican votes to be counted in Arizona. But even so, David, this is going to become a very interesting race to watch over the course of the night, because you are seeing a significant lead with a significant chunk of the vote in, over 50% of the vote in.
Coming in, John, thank you. Also has news coming in on two key House.
Okay. So once again, and I didn't hear anyone mention this one yet, but once again, Charles Booker has lost again. Charles Booker was running against Rand Paul here for Senate. 82% of the vote is in. They've already made the prediction here that Rand Paul is going to be the winner, and Charles Booker loses another election again. Charles Booker was another one who said he was progressive, his last campaign. And this time around, this campaign, I watched him move his messaging and his campaign a little bit further to the right, to the point where he just kind of sounds like a shit lib now. He don't really sound like a progressive. And look at the support. This is why I keep telling people the middle of the road, milquetoast message is not resonating with people with the way that they thought that it would, right? Running solely on politics is not reaching people the way that they thought that it would. So once again, Charles Booker has lost again. Yes, thank you, Leroy. Charles Booker is no different than Beto. That's right. They are pretty similar. Okay.
Phrases tonight again. Republicans need a net gain of 5. These are 2. One is a flip. One is a Democratic victory. We're gonna dive into both of them with Rachel Scott. She's standing by at the booth right after the break. Our live coverage of election night 2022. And again, those numbers from Arizona are going to be very interesting to watch over the course of the next hour. The race for governor, the race for Senate there, and what these numbers mean. They're early, and it's great that John points.
So these are the numbers they have here. Republican 42, Democrat 41, Senate at this hour. Who did I miss? I thought we hit all of them. Okay, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky. I missed Indiana. That's who I missed. Indiana also went to Republicans as well. And then for Democrats, Colorado, Illinois, New York, Vermont, and they blur this one out. Maryland. That's what they have so far. They are going to a break. I'm going to jump back into these ballot measures just to see if there is any update here. I'm particularly going to check the marijuana ones just to see if there was any type of change. So let's go ahead and see. So we saw, skip Arizona because we already know about that one. We're going to go back to, I know Missouri was one of them. Yeah, we talked about that one. That one looks similar and the same. That's Kentucky. Again, that's the constitutional right to abortion. And 52.5% are saying no. 52.4% no. 47.6% yes. And then we do want to jump back. Marijuana in Maryland, it's still leaning yes. So that is 54%, and that's probably going to pass in Maryland. Michigan, right to abortion, 55.9% yes, and 44.1% no. Going to 28%. I want to get back to the one, Missouri, legalizing marijuana. I don't think this one has really moved, you guys. I'm sorry to tell you, for those of you who are there, 32% in. Really? You think it'd be more than that now? 51.7% are still saying no to legalizing marijuana in Missouri. 48.3% say yes to legalizing marijuana. It's still close, but honestly, it shouldn't even, I don't know, it should not be that close. What in the world can I like? Okay, Montana, referendum 131 requires medical care for infants born alive. Okay. 61.3% no. 38.7% yes. Only 7% is in. North Dakota is still saying no to legalizing marijuana, you guys. It's still trending further that way. I don't get it. 54% in, so that's probably not going to pass. And we're going to go down here to Nebraska. This one wasn't here before. It's here now. Increase minimum wage to $15 per hour. So far, it's heading in the right direction. Yes, 59%. 41% said no. This is an example of a red state supporting a progressive policy, because this was a part of the Bernie Sanders platform. Other progressive politicians' platform was increasing that $15 minimum wage. See what I told you about passing it on the state level versus trying to wait for the government, the U.S. government, to do it? You know, when they voted on it, 7 Democrats voted against it in the Senate, and one of them that voted against it was an independent. So this is what I'm saying. It was shut down on the federal level. So more people are trying to pass it through the states. Right now, in a red state, it looks like this is going to pass. Same thing with Florida. It passed in Florida as well. Again, these ballot measures are incredibly important. And I think that every state should be a ballot initiative state. And you can actually fight to make that happen as well. 10% is in, but that looks like, I think that's probably going to pass. I'm going to go ahead and predict that's going to pass. Let's go down. The West Coast people, you guys got to get with it. I don't know. Like, it really, I ain't got time to wait for you guys. That 3-hour difference, you know, I can't. Here it is. Again, South Dakota is a no for legalizing recreational marijuana. It's still going in that direction. 36% is in. And I don't know why Vermont isn't in. You guys are so late. We're going to flip back over to CNN, and then we're going to get ready to wrap up, guys. Let's see if there's any more updates.
To vote. Your vote's cast. We know. We move on to the
9 seats.
are at stake in the 4 states where polling places are about to close. 15 of those seats are competitive, most in California. We're also going to be watching the Senate race in.
Hold on a second. We have a troll here that likes to come in from time to time. So let's go and feed the troll a little bit. You have your opinion of the commentator that's being displayed right now, Pacomio Pacomio, whatever the fuck your name is. You have your opinions, but you show your ignorance. It's a round table, degenerate autocrat defenders, 187 al-Assad. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Let's see here. Just give a shit, Willie. How long can you go inviting this trash on your show? What the fuck are you talking about? Let's see. Let's see here. The world will remember you flaming homosexuals playing defense for Assad. See you later, Willie. Get your shit together. Who's a flaming homosexual and what's wrong with homosexuals? That's the 2 questions there. And as far as Assad, if you're cheerleading for the same people John Bolton is cheerleading for, you're a problem. That's all I got to say. All right, so that's all I got to say about that. And let's go to more positive folks here. Artie, how are you? I'm doing okay. Let's see. Swipe. No, I don't know. How are you doing today? Let's see here. All right. Let's see. It's a joke. Oh, okay. Well, I'm all for humor, I guess. Let's see. Willie, this night is a shock so far. I know what you meant. Yeah, it's kind of shocking. I was talking to my dad earlier tonight. Before I got on, I gave him a call and see how my parents are doing. And we were both kind of surprised about the polls that there was no violence at all. We were fairly sure that there was going to be some really horrible, fucked up people doing horrible, fucked up things. And so far, so good. Everything's been no violence or reports so far, because passions are very high these days, and people get very irrational. So anyway, let's see here. Fuck Assad. You're a bigot who are amalgamate a sham for the FSA. You're the problem. Well, I don't see how I'm a problem to anybody, but that's how it goes. Let's listen to Sabby. Let's see. Okay. Well, let Sabby continue.
Washington State in the hour ahead. Incumbent Democratic Senator Patty Murray seeking re-election after serving 30 years in the Senate, her Republican challenger. Former nurse and first-time candidate, Republican Tiffany Smiley, is positioning herself as a political outsider. The governor's race in California is also on our radar. The incumbent Democrat, Gavin Newsom, is a national figure who prevailed over a 2021 recall effort. He now faces Republican challenger State Senator Brian Daly. Newsom has a clear advantage in the state where Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1. Will he take a victory and go on and run for president? That's a question we're all asking. In the Oregon governor's race, former State House Speaker Tina Kotek is running to keep the governor's office in the hands of Democrats. Her Republican opponent is former State House Minority Leader Christine Drazen, and there's a potential wild card, Betsy Johnson, a former Democratic state senator who is running as an independent candidate. Almost anything could happen in Oregon when it comes to the governor's race there. Polls are closing out west just minutes from now. Well, let's turn back right now to the nail-biter Senate race in Georgia. Jeff Zeleny is at the headquarters of Republican candidate Herschel Walker. Jeff, Walker spoke just a little while ago? He did, Jake. He came down here to the hotel ballroom, and he said he simply wanted to thank his supporters. And his message was, hang in there a little bit longer. He said he came here to win. He got in this race to win, and he gave an upbeat and very brief message. So there's no declaration of victory. There was no talk about the process. He said he was simply here to win and just to urge patience. So that's what obviously everyone here in Georgia is going to be, is patient for this, because this Senate race has been seesawing back and forth all night long between Raphael Warnock, the Democratic incumbent senator, and of course Herschel Walker, the Republican challenger. Now, just a few thousand votes, about up to 30,000 or so votes separate them. Herschel Walker has the narrow edge, but the Walker campaign tells me they believe that some rural counties, the vote is still out in some rural counties in northern Georgia, where they're fairly optimistic about the election day vote that benefits them. However, the Warnock campaign is still looking at votes here in Atlanta and around the suburbs.
Seabrass said Warnock is losing to Black Joe. Wow.
They say there is still vote out there for them as well. But Jake, one thing is clear tonight as this moves forward, that Herschel Walker is underperforming.
Oh, by the way, if there's anybody still here that's subscribed to my channel, thank you for the subscription earlier this evening. I thank you all. So anyway, I'll let Sabby Sabs continue her program.
Forming Republican Governor Brian Kemp in his reelection effort. He is leading Democrat Stacey Abrams by a wider margin. So clearly some questions here. And one thing, split ticket voting, we've been wondering all season long if there would be coattails or split ticket voting. Definite split ticket voting, but the question here is, can Governor Kemp still bring Herschel Walker over that finish line to 50%? We'll find out in the coming hours, but indeed it could take that long. That's right.
That's right. This could take, you may not find out till tomorrow morning, honestly, with the way that things are going with that particular race. But another thing I want to point out, again, this means, at least for this race in Georgia, people didn't vote down ballot, guys. People didn't vote down ballot. If Brian Kemp has a wider lead over Stacey Abrams than Walker has over Warnock, that means people didn't vote down ballot. So some people may have went to vote and they may have voted for Warnock, and they may not have voted for Brian Kemp or Stacey Abrams. Or some people may have voted for Warnock and voted for Brian Kemp just because Stacey Abrams pissed them the fuck off with her comments. You see, this is the thing. Like, it happens sometimes where people are like, well, I know I may be a Democrat, but I really don't like her. This is important for people to really grasp. And I think, you know, regardless of what happens, Stacey Abrams is going to come up with more excuses, of course, right? But what they should be asking is, why weren't people voting down ballot? Israel said, Sabby Sabs Warnock did a Hillary Clinton. This has got to be one of the biggest election fails since 2016. This is real buffoonery. That's right. You can't shame the voters. You can't call people names and be like, oh, my poll numbers are low. Because the stuff that she said about the voters, I was just like, look, I want to remind everybody, Stacey Abrams is a millionaire now. Yeah, that happened, right? She's a millionaire now. So even if Stacey loses, Stacey will be all right. Just keep that in mind. She'll be fine.
With 83% of the vote in, Walker has 49.7%, Warnock 48.4%. If it stays like that, and there's still a lot of votes to count, if it stays like that, it will go to a runoff. Let's go to Warnock headquarters in Atlanta right now, where we find our Eva McKen. And Eva, what are you hearing from Warnock campaign folks?
Well, Jake, there is a whole lot of cautious optimism here. Close aides, the campaign manager just leaving the stage, not saying a whole lot, just maintaining that they are feeling good. I did speak with a Democratic strategist working with the campaign, and he says, look at DeKalb County, look at Fulton County, look at the major areas around Atlanta. That is where they are tracking tonight. They are looking to see if the Biden voters from 2020 are going to stick with them. They're also feeling good about these.
Why would they stick with you after you canceled those $2,000 checks? You think they forgot about that? Oh.
Split ticket voters, because It is splitting in a way that seems to be good for Senator Warnock. And overall, they are confident in the strategies that they have employed here for the past several weeks by really characterizing Warnock, who is a reliable Democratic vote, but characterizing him as moderate, as someone who can appeal to a wide swath of Georgians.
Okay, let's go over to Texas.
That's that when you come here, Donald Trump, so Ron Johnson overperforming Trump by a little bit. As we go through it again, I just want to check the percentages, because the percentages can change when you have a mix of which vote is counted, early vote or election day.
No, I think the race was just called in Texas. Let me see if I can get that on the screen. I'll let him finish talking, actually, while I do that.
But if that holds up, that bodes well for Senator Johnson in the sense that you have Milwaukee here. You have more of a swing area right here in the eastern parts of the county. As you move into the western parts of Waukesha County, it's Republican territory, and that's where Republicans need a healthy margin here.
This isn't something we really were looking for as opposed to Pennsylvania and Georgia, but is Mandela Barnes underperforming Governor Evers?
I don't know if we have that built in just to check it, but let me look to see if we kept it. I don't believe we have it here as we come through. No, we do.
Well, we can just look at the number.
Okay. For you, I was trying to do it the easy way, but we can do it. We can do it the harder way just by.
You guys are unorganized and you sound really nervous, and it's making me feel a little unsettled. I'm going to move over to ABC. Maybe ABC has that up now. But yes, I did just Google it. So Beto O'Rourke has lost again, which I predicted, by the way.
Me too.
I called it months ago, and I was like, and he's probably going to lose again. Because it just, people not feeling you, bro. You jump up on tables and be like, I'm born for this, man. I was made for this moment. Like, nobody's feeling that shit. It's like you're like, I don't know. Like, you just want a lot of attention. You need a lot of attention that we can't give. So it's just, we understand. Like, we see you for what you really are. Let's see if they have the update here on ABC.
Well, we told you it would be a long night full of surprises. We're back here at 11 o'clock in the east, 8 p.m. in the west, with polls now closing in 4 more states: California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. Just 2 states still voting, Alaska and Hawaii. Wouldn't it be nice to be in Hawaii right now? Anyway, here's a race that we're looking at this hour. This is the Pennsylvania governor's race, and we can now project a winner. Josh Shapiro has won in the race for governor in Pennsylvania. A lot of attention on him and a lot of attention on the state, obviously. Could he possibly, at the end of the night or at the end of a couple of days, help John Fetterman? Or will there be split-ticket voting? Dr. Oz and his campaign working so hard to try to encourage some of Josh Shapiro's voters to come their way. These are questions we simply don't have answered yet. But we can tell you, though, with 71% of the vote in, Josh Shapiro, now the new governor of Pennsylvania tonight. In Ohio, the news just before we went to the break tonight, J.D. Vance will be serving Ohio in the Senate. He is the projected winner in that race against Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan gave it a fight.
Snap! What'd I tell you? What did we say? What did we say, guys? What did we say? Didn't we call that shit? Did we not call that shit? We called it earlier. Look at this. So J.D. Vance is already the projected winner for Ohio. So Tim Ryan not having a good day, not having a good night. This shit is embarrassing. The Trump-backed candidate won. Let's go on. Let's hear what else he says. I want to see if he brings up O'Rourke, but I do have another thing if he did.
In the night, which we expected, given the way they count their returns, J.D. Vance now projected the winner in that Senate race. He'll replace Rob Portman. To Georgia, we continue to follow this very close race tonight. All eyes on Georgia. The incumbent there, Raphael Warnock, slightly behind Herschel Walker now. We predicted that the way the votes come in, that this could be the situation we watch unfold in Georgia. 85% of the vote in, though, and look at that. It's pretty much a dead heat at this hour. We'll continue to follow this. The governor's race, much different from the Senate race there. Governor Brian Kemp with a very healthy lead over Stacey Abrams, 53 to 45. And questioning
it keeps getting worse. She keeps dropping lower and lower. 45.4%. Jesus.
Again, Brian Kemp's success is apparent success at this hour with 85% of the vote. Will he help Herschel Walker potentially across the finish line as well? No pun intended there. California governor tonight, Gavin Newsom in California. The polls have just closed, and we can now confirm that he will serve that state as governor yet again. He had that recall, did better in the recall than the first time he was elected. now re-elected as governor of California. A lot of attention on Gavin Newsom because of his willingness to take on Ron DeSantis, to take on Greg Abbott in their own states with ads. A lot of questions about whether he could run in 2024. He has said that he is not running. In an interview with our Matt Gutman, we'll talk to Matt in a bit here to talk about how he answered that question, what he said about Joe Biden, and what he said about his own prospects for running for president. And in the Senate race in California, Senator Alex Padilla seeking a first full term there. He is the one who stepped in after Congress was elected vice president. He is now.
Okay, those were predictable. I'm bringing in the results right now for Beto and Abbott. So far, my predictions have been pretty right. Okay. All right. Governor, Texas, they've already called it. Here we can see, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. That's right. So here we can see Greg Abbott wins. It's 63% reporting, but they're already calling it. Like, they already said this is over, bud. So, and you can see here, the typical blue pockets vote blue, the typical red pockets vote red. But they have called this for Governor Abbott. Jesus, this is embarrassing. So not only did Beto lose, Governor Abbott, let me make this larger for the people with the glasses in the back. Governor Abbott had 55.3% and Beto O'Rourke got 43.5%. The Libertarian candidate, Mark Tippett, got 0.9%. He beat Beto O'Rourke by more than 10%. That's embarrassing. So that's it for Beto. Now, I don't know if he's going to run for another race or not. Maybe he'll write a book. Maybe he will write a book. I don't know. But I hate to tell you guys, like, we called it, did we not? Ay. Pachito, any word on important BIs? Yeah, I can do one more run through and then we'll head out. It hasn't changed much from what I saw. I'll double check one more time for that one. Hopefully that first one didn't change at all. I'll make sure I refresh it. Okay. Yeah. So far, it really hasn't changed much. These are coming in slow. Those are the ones from Massachusetts. I'll check one more time for these ones here as well. These are coming in slow. But like I said, that $15 minimum wage one, that's a huge one there for Nebraska. Most people are voting yes for that increase so far. But so far, I don't see the changes. So it doesn't look like legalizing marijuana is going to pass in Missouri, and it doesn't look like it's going to pass in North Dakota so far. But it does look like it is likely to pass in Maryland, and in Arkansas, it looks like it is not likely to pass. 57.3% said no to legalizing marijuana, and that's 57% of the vote is in. So unfortunately, that one didn't work out the way that I thought it would across those states. One more live update, and then I am going to do these chats. Actually, let me do that first. Delthea said, I'm waiting on the first anarcho-socialist governor and the anarcho-socialist state house that comes in on their coattails. Yep, thanks for the super chat, Black Nobility. Nobody cares about symbolic nonsense. Where the money at? There you go. Kill your Igorgis. Savvy, you should get an award for election coverage. I gotta tell you, this is my first time doing this, just doing this. This is my first time, because when I started my show, it was not an election season. So, and I'm doing this by myself. So I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. We're just gonna wing it and see what happens here. But thank you so much for that. I tried. Shout out to Susan J for becoming a savvy member. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Susan J's in the house. I said J's in the house. Roger Meadows says BT voters just made abortion a right via the ballot initiative put before them by the legislature. That's right. So Vermont made abortion a right. David, thanks for the super chat. No one votes Republican light. They'll choose the real stuff. And thank you for the super chat, Roger Meadows. Sabs to check ballot initiative for all, check DM, then put link in chat. I can do that as well. Let's go ahead and check this update happening here on CNN.
Doesn't look like a blowout.
Certainly not. And we have another big projection for UNIT right now. CNN is projecting that in the state of New Hampshire, live free or die, Democratic incumbent Senator Maggie Hassan will be reelected, defeating retired General.
She say, yeah, their state motto was live free or die, but they voted against legalizing marijuana. Like, it passed in the House and it didn't pass in the Senate because of people like Mary Hassan who have this belief that marijuana is a gateway drug. She a little nutty. She a little cuckoo.
Don Bolduc. Maggie Hassan will be reelected. CNN is projecting this is a seat that Republicans thought they could win. They thought they could defeat Hassan. They were very bullish. They were talking all week about momentum being their way. And instead, Maggie Hassan, the Democratic senator, holds on to that seat CNN is projecting. Let's look at the balance of power right now in the U.S. Senate. 100 seats. Democrats currently control 43 of those seats, with the Hassan keeping her seat. Republicans have 44 of them. There are 13 seats remaining. Republicans need to pick up one net Democratic seat in order to wrest control of the U.S. Senate. Those 13 seats are what we are waiting to see to determine if they are able to achieve that.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat for you guys because Roger Meadows sent me this. If you want to see all of the ballot initiatives for all the states, here's the link for that. So you can see everything that was on the ballot. So I just put that in the chat. And then I am about to head out. Shout out to Mike for becoming a new Savvy member. Whoop, 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 whoop. And JB says, Sabs, you're still live. I'm about to head out right now, but because I don't have that much storage space left on StreamYard because I didn't delete other things, so I really do have to jet. Like, not that I want to be with you guys, but I really do got to get out of here. But thanks, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Look, this was my first time doing, like, election night. I hope I did okay. I try, and I hope I brought some local issues to your attention as well. And other than that, it is past my bedtime. Sappy has to go. I'm not here tomorrow. I'm off on Wednesdays. I'll be back Thursday and Friday. Until then, guys, you know how we do this. Have a good night. Keep up the fight and keep an eye on that race in Georgia, because if Herschel Walker wins, I'm going to laugh my ass off because I hate to say it, but I told people so. I told you so, man. See you later. Bye.
Okay, that was a little bit of Savvy Sabs. Be sure to subscribe to her channel. Here's an update, and I'm sorry, I've just been kind of trying to watch a little bit of the election results and talk and play a little bit of just random things as we're coming along in the evening and everything. But here's where it stands right now. Republicans, 183 Republicans and 83 Democrats in the House so far. Well, I did say 41, 43, but apparently this 44, 40, there's like a one seat. I forgot the number just now, but it was a slightly different number from the 41 Democrats and 43 Republicans. But we'll see what happens from there. Let's see here. 12 Democrats, 22 Republicans for state governor. That's what it's looking like. Artie says if Oz and Walker lose, that might give them enough ammo to run against Trump in 2024. That's true. I really don't think that Trump is going to be a factor in 2024. I really don't think he's going to be a factor. I think that something is going to happen where Trump is not going to be a factor in the year 2024. I just don't see it in the cards. So just don't see it in the cards. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. Myself. So I'm going to do this night myself and call it a night. So I was hoping we are going to get some results fairly sooner than what we have. But anyway, and I've been a little incoherent tonight because lack of sleep and all that, and just trying to get everything set up and all that. And likewise, this is the first time I actually am covering an election too. So I've been kind of all thumbs at it. So forgive me, folks. Forgive me. Please forgive me. So let's see what we got here. Let's go and check some stories for the time being. And oh, wait a minute. I'll tell you what we can do. Give me a moment. Yes, let's do that. Hold on a second here. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Down in Florida, because that's DeSantis country, unfortunately. We can check what's going on. Unfortunately, there was a DeSantis landslide. So anyway, we got generational change.
That would be nice. Another electoral update. Right now, John Fetterman holds a 1-point lead over Mehmet Oz, 68% reporting. Very, very close.
It's very nerve-wracking. Guys, Dr. Oz is such a capitalist elitist whore. I don't understand how people in Pennsylvania would vote for someone who lives across the border in a castle. Could you even more obviously vote for, like, it's like voting for a king.
And the Democratic Party for screwing Charles Booker. Rand Paul is winning re-election by 22 points. But instead, you decided that you were going to have Amy McGrath run against Mitch McConnell.
Oh, my God.
And they'll say, well, Amy McGrath only lost by 18 points. Well.
Against Mitch McConnell.
Not
Rand Paul. Rand Paul is not hated. In fact, Rand Paul is not a corporate whore. And his people must actually like him, or he wouldn't be able to stay there because he doesn't take corporate money. So he must be doing something right. Again, I don't agree with his politics. But obviously he's doing something right because he's able to stay there without corporate money. Mitch McConnell, he needs to go. And he's never going to die. I'm convinced that he's immortal. I'm convinced it's like Death becomes her, like he's covered in that like shellac, like a spray paint situation that keeps him looking like he's human. But in fact, he's green underneath, like a corpse. He is like the Grim Reaper. He is a horrible human being. He's a horrible human being.
I can't really say at this point.
Oh my God, that's
what
brutal.
This is gonna look like.
It's brutal.
When it goes west, California obviously is going to fill in a number of Democratic House seats. Hawaii will fill in 2. Alaska, is Hawaii 2? Yeah, Hawaii's 2. And Alaska, I believe, is 1. We'll see if the incumbent Democrat, the lady's name is slipping me right now, is able to hold.
Love of all that is holy.
So I don't know what this is going to look like, but right now it's definitely trending towards a GOP takeover of the House, of the U.S. Senate. It's still a little too early to say. A lot is really riding on whether or not Barnes or or Johnson wins Wisconsin. Is Ted Budd going to win, or Sherry Beasley is going to win? Right now, Ted Budd looks like he is pulling away from Sherry Beasley in North Carolina. If that seat goes red,
don't blame Matthew Ho. Don't blame the Greens.
It won't be enough.
Wasn't enough, but they blamed Jill Stein, and that wasn't anywhere near enough.
I mean, they're going to try.
That's what I mean. That wasn't anywhere near enough.
The Democrats are dangerously close to losing. So
honestly, they deserve to. They deserve to. If you're sitting in a power position and you fail to deliver what people need, why would you get to stay there? Any other job, they give it to someone else. And so I'm sitting here and I think it's hilarious because these people actually think that they can continue to absolutely do nothing and just sit there.
By the way, any hopes of Mike Lee getting unseated in Utah against Evan McMullen, who's running as an independent? Right now, Mike Lee holds a 25-point lead. Now, granted, it's 15% reporting. Don't know exactly where McMullen is going to be strong. My guess is that it's Salt Lake City. Those areas aren't being counted as of yet. Maybe the race will end up being.
You know what's in Provo. You know what they sent. You know who they sent to Provo.
Church.
No. Bad kids get sent to Provo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Especially if you're from the California area and you have discipline problems, you end up in a boarding school in Provo. It's not kid. Like there's like, it's basically like juvies there. That's what, like, to me, when I hear Provo, I think of juvenile. Don't be bad, Bo. I've heard it's bad there.
So let's see what's actually happening in Illinois. Want to take a look at that one real quick?
Let's look at Illinois.
Tammy Duckworth wins re-election, not a surprise. Chicago is usually safe.
She's got that good veteran card, too.
J.B. Pritzker wins re-election over Darren Bailey, who, remember, he did fund his campaign to, when you're a billionaire, there's a lot of things that you can do. TM, always a pleasure, dog. Thank you so much for your support, as always. Yeah, so tomorrow night's going to be a very interesting show talking about dope sick.
It's going to be sad. I mean, like, it's definitely not an uplifting topic, okay? I mean, it's really upsetting. And honestly, listening to her book, and she does narrate her own audiobook, which I appreciate, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting. And I want people to read this because we need, the first thing that needs to change with the opioid crisis, the very first thing that we have to do before we can do anything is change the stigma of what addiction is and what that looks like. And we need to look at it instead of wanting to penalize, punish, and erase those people as if somehow they're bad or evil or wrong. What we need to do, I don't know, you're showing me. Oh, I don't know who that is though.
Obvious one.
Oh, so we need to change the stigma. And if we're able to change the stigma of what addiction looks like and who it's affecting, our attitudes about how to help people will change. So I feel like by addressing it the way we're going to be doing it, it's really, that's my goal, is for people to come away from tomorrow night with an understanding of what substance use disorder is, what the people are going through, how we can make it better. And by the way, I'll say it again, I've said it a million times, we all do better when we all do better, okay? We're all better with people being healthy and educated and not dependent on drugs. We're just all better off that way. And so I just think we need to look at this, and people don't realize we're so puritanical and conservative with a lot of things in this country compared to other countries. We actually have states right now that are trying to ban needle exchanging, which has been proven to reduce transmission of AIDS and other diseases and reduce the amount of dependency and addiction.
Needles?
What are you talking about? It's a needle exchange.
Oh.
So you bring in your used needles and they give you clean needles, and these are set up like
okay. I guess I misunderstood.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry. People didn't know a needle exchange is for people to go and get clean needles, sort of because they're living on the streets. They have no access to buy things, and if you provide clean needles, it's just a service. It's just making everything better for us. And anyway, again, but there's this stigma that those are bad people and they're addicts, and why should we help them and just screw them? And it's just so that not understanding the nature of the collective. And everyone knows I think that's really important. And I've always been somewhat sympathetic and understanding of like addiction and what that is, but not everyone is. And this was even eye-opening for me, like the kinds of what people are dealing with, and people that are trying to help them are having to be like, it's like there's this old man in Fort Lauderdale, and they used to arrest him for feeding homeless people. That's the people that are trying to help the people with substance use disorder. They're being punished for trying to help them. That's where we are in this country. And it's just, it's upsetting. So I'm hoping we'll be able to help with at least clear some stigma, add to the solution.
We'll have more, obviously, to talk about tomorrow night. Right now, Herschel Walker leads Raphael Warnock by 700 votes, which is incredible. 86% reporting. They're both sitting at 49%. If it were to hold, they would go to a runoff.
That's our best case scenario right now.
I would agree. I think it's going to be very hard, but I think this is just a very neck and neck race. You really can't, I really can't call it one way or the other. I think that the Senate race in North Carolina is looking more and more like Ted Budd's. He holds a 3-point lead. He is holding a 140,000 vote lead with 81% reporting.
That's kind of
that's a big lead.
I got to tell you how I feel about that. Good. They worked tirelessly to keep Matthew Hoh up the ballot in North Carolina for that race. Shame on you. And to me, anybody who does stuff like that and participates in kind of suppress people from participating, shame on you.
It's almost poetic because the amount of votes he's going to get are not going to be anywhere near the amount of votes that is going to be the margin of victory.
No.
So.
But they had to go out of their way to try to keep him off the ballot.
They did.
And every time they do, it's almost like when people do that, I vote against those people every single time. Because it's
trying to hurt, the vote. John Fetterman is holding a 1-point lead, about 40,000 votes, a little over 40,000 votes with 72% reporting. I would say that he's doing good up here.
Every state looks the same. Every state in this country, with the exception of like New York and California, are like red with little blue dots in them.
Fetterman is definitely doing what he can to hold off Oz, which
he worked hard.
He did. I think the debate really hurt him. And
I didn't watch it. So what? Like, was it just bad?
It's just his communication is just way off, and it's unfortunate.
And you think that's specifically from the stroke, or was maybe he wasn't great before that with communicating? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely played a role. There's no question that it played a role. And so, last but not least, before we do go, we're going to obviously do our traditional, which is asking you guys to give us money. So go to patreon.com/generational.
I think that's stuck in the door.
He is. You're not, but I will sell you on why you want to become a patron of this channel. So, we're obviously not going to have candidates on, but what we are going to have is a lot of more in-depth conversations with also content creators, with important people that are going to be involved in a variety of different things that is going to help our channel grow. But if you are so inclined, please go to patreon.com/generational change. As little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter of our channel. If you do decide to be a little bit more generous, $10 a month will get you the Mansion Parliamentarian bumper sticker. Lord knows you want to get these now because we're getting awfully close to election season beginning.
Okay, by the way, I sent one to, I sent one to him, and when you see it on Jordan's show, everyone's going to want one to be all the rage. I sent him a Lulu
sticker too. Those are always important. But if you are so inclined, and you really feel become a $25 a month patron, you get one of these wonderful babies. The Generational Change jersey. Silky smooth. Tri-blend. It's the best. But if you really do not want to give us any money, Willie, that's great news. But if you are so inclined,
you know what? Absolutely.
Cash App.
Can I just say I love Matthew Hoh? He's like, honestly, Matthew Hoh is like to me like an ideal candidate. Like I would vote for him for pretty much anything. I think he's just the kind of people that I want representing. He's exactly the kind of people that I want representing.
Well, I still think he very likely could run for president. I could actually see him running in the Green Party. I think if the Green Party knew anything about what they're doing.
We know they don't. We know they don't.
That's for sure.
The name alone is never going to work.
Jesse Ventura is.
That's our own, Jesse, you are our only hope.
Is the forward party going to be able to do it? And of course, last but not least, small business neighbors, our good friends at Apex Insurance Agency. For your home, auto, and life insurance, you got to give them a call because they are the local small business based in Delray Beach. They will give you a quote, and you might be surprised with how much money they can save you. It may not be, it sounds like a pitch of some sort, but I can assure you.
Stick with a small business. If you don't have somebody, check them out. See what they can do for you. When you use somebody local, they'll actually go out of their way. And when rates go down and stuff, they'll let you know and they'll try to help you out. When you use a big thing, you don't get that. So if you don't have somebody, check them out.
Yeah, they're signing off right now. So I'm sorry. I'm a little bit, as I said, I'm a little tipsy right now. So, and all of that. So, yeah, that's a generational change. Jen Perlman, challenged, I believe in 2018, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is a corporate Democrat, you know what, and she's a horrible human being, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She basically, she was one of the people that were part of the rigging process that took place in 2016, you know the story, and there's a little bit of shenanigans down there in that district against Perlman too. So I keep on wishing Perlman will run against Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because I'll tell you one thing: I'll never ever support someone like Debbie Wasserman Schultz ever. She's a horrible, horrible human being. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, not Jim Perlman. Jim Perlman's very base. So, anyway, yeah, I just, I'm a little out there. Yeah, as I said, we're watching the election results and just trying to keep up with what's going on. I'm going to try to check what's going on right now. Let's see what's going on in the U.S. House of Representatives. Oh, good Lord. Right now, it looks like Republicans are at well, let's go and let's check it. Let me go to the actual site itself, Google. Boom. Okay. I don't know if you can see it right now, but Democrats are at 101 seats currently, and the Republicans are at 154 seats. So it's looking like it's going to be a Republican victory right now. It's almost a foregone conclusion there. The Democrats have lost 4 seats so far. Republicans have gained 2 seats. So it's not looking good right now for the Democrats. Right at this moment, the Republicans got 44 seats in the Senate. The Democrats has got 41 seats, and that's not, that's not looking like a very good night for the Democrats so far. 22 seats for the Republicans for governor and 13 seats for the Democrats. They did gain 2 seats, it looks like, and the Republicans lost 2 seats. So it looks like on the state level, the Republicans have done just a little bit worse. Just a little bit worse. The Republicans have, on the state level, and looks like they've done a little worse than the Democrats. But on the federal level, is not looking good for the Democrats at the moment. Let's see here. So let's see. I don't know what the ballot measures like, whatever. That's find that out, I guess, maybe later on. So anyway, so that's what's going on right there. So yep. So that's that's where we stand right now as far as the results. So I'll go ahead and slip on back here to myself, and so we will see what the results is. And if by midnight, if it's nothing is conclusive, as I said, I'm going to sign off at midnight myself. And if nothing is really all that conclusive, what I'm going to do is, if I can get up in the morning, I will probably give a quick update of what happened, and just give you my takes on everything, and where we can go from here, and of course, there will probably be a lot of commentary in the following days. I'm not sure, but so we'll see what's going to go on. So I wish that things were going to. Wish we could have gotten the results a little bit quicker, but it just. It is what it is. It's volatile times, and people just kind of not knowing what's going on right now. I'm extremely tired, right? So too. So there is that. Is what can happen when you work graveyard shift. So if there's anybody else that's doing stuff that we can report on. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Oh, why not? He's kind of a shitlib, but he is still kind of objectively okay with his information. So let's take a look here. Hold on. Okay. We haven't heard from him in a while, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of him lately. So let's go to Sahil. Y'all remember him, don't you? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Sahil Habibi. Yeah, he's back. Come on. There you go.
Another dub for Democrats there. So it doesn't look like it's much of a red wave, I don't think, but I don't know how the House is going to end up, though. Got 135, 178, but it's like the West Coast hasn't come in yet, which is supposed to be the blue area. Is it true, like the eastern, like half of the U.S. is more right-wing than the left, or no? In terms of like numbers? Murray also a key race. He got the dub too. This is interesting. I wonder what's going on with this. And why looks like a red wave. And H was lean D. And H became very close coming to the election day. What was the numbers? I need hope the numbers for CBS or Universe will make it better. Or the astronaut will probably win by 0.5 to 2%. New Florida. Oregon's governor race is a nail biter. What website is this? This right here. This is Club Penguin. Look at Bobert race in Colorado. My dad has come to your stream many times. Election sick, dog. Who did a rap battle? Kyle, not some shit, or Benny Noab Shapiro? Probably Ben Shapiro. What do you think for Colo CD3? Phone news projecting winners too early. Like, what the fuck? Peace, bro. See you later, Joe. Have a good one, man. I live in Ohio. Couldn't vote because of my felony. 2022 is a mirage. Even West Palm Beach County almost flipped. Install mask and lockdown shit made people go more right. And when I big, it's just somewhere and talk to a few dozen people. Arizona got the blue mirage. Yeah, it is a blue mirage right now. Don't believe this stuff in Arizona. What time are you going home? What do you mean? Why is Florida becoming this dude? I don't fucking know. Some localized red waves not where Republicans need them. Nah, but like it was supposed to be like a solid. Like at the end, it was like there was a 70 and 100 chance that they were going to get the Senate, and then it was also going to be like they're still going to win the House, right? I mean, they're still going to win the House, but I'm just looking at it as like it's much better for Democrats because it's like it was looked at as like fuck, Democrats about to get wiped They're about to get quiet, but it doesn't look like that right now. All right, 81% reporting in Pennsylvania. Fetterman, lead goes up. Lead has gone up. All right, 70,572 votes, 1.5% vote. Percent lead for Fetty Boy. Where does that come from? That is the question. We got Mont just went from I think 52 or 58 to 79%. Damn, bro. I mean, like Delaware is still out there. You feel, because it's like Philadelphia is still out there, 37. Damn, son. Oz is fucked. Yeah, hell nah, he ain't losing. No fucking chance Fetterman loses, bro. This is
Okay, I'll tell you what, folks. I hate to do this to you all. I've been here for almost 4 hours, and I had this thing scheduled from 8 at night to 4, and I said I was going to call it a night, and I am incredibly tired. I think what I'm going to do is I think I may just call it a night right now. And when I do, I may just in the morning do an update. We'll find out for sure where everybody's at in the morning. And I'll do a quick update and all of that. So let me just go ahead and do that. And I will say this. Thank you all for showing up here tonight, bearing with me. My better moments, my not so best moments. My foggy time period. I just been tired today. So I'll say this. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and create your own platform, because we're the muckrakers of our time. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter. You can talk to me on Twitter, because I'm almost all the time on Twitter. Twitch. I'm technically on Rumble. However, I'm not really streaming on Rumble yet. And I'm trying to get up to 100 subscribers so I can multi-stream. And I got a new Facebook. I got a Facebook page out that's for my official stuff, political stuff. So that way I don't get into too many fights with my normie conservative and apolitical people or what have you. Sometimes it can be a little sketchy. So we all have that in our lives, so everything. So anyway, there's that, and let's hope that this country is not this country doesn't go nuts when we wake up in the morning. So let's see here. Before I do go, I see September's back. Side note, does anyone drink vegetable blended juice? I don't know. I don't remember drinking. A long time after I have had it a while back. Let's see. I'm debating on that or carrot juice right now. Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't had that in quite a while, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so I don't know. So September, I'm glad to see you up here. I'm glad. As I said, I've been doing this for almost 3 years, and I'm starting to have a little bit more exposure right now. And I'm just glad to see you on board and everything, and just trying to do what I can to communicate ideas and all of that, because that's what I love doing. So anyway, everyone, listen, always reject corporate media. Always reject corporate media, because they have nothing to offer us. And to always seek a second opinion if you can. Cheers to every one of y'all. I'm going to sign off tonight, and I want to end this note with, of course, how I always end all my streams. You know, always ends with just a little bit, just a little bit of music to always end the stream. So y'all have a great night and take it easy. Take care.